Come on, for old time's sake.
Yeah, exactly. As the dramatic music comes in, and that means a Varus ban. As Nefiri taken off the board as well. Not going to see that, at least in game number 1.
Haven't seen it win, but we definitely saw it in the last game do some popping off. So I think a very respectful ban, denying that away from Raptor. The Jace, I feel like a lot of these picks, especially in game 1, you kind of see a similar pool of bans, but also going for the buy ban, which is interesting because it's one of Lucid's best picks.
Yeah.
But clearly something I respect a lot, and they got targeting Raptor very heavily so far.
This is interesting because I feel like you almost have to ban the Gwen. The problem is if the Rumble gets left up, there's not a lot of answers. Like, people like to play the Jace into it, for example. The Skarner is going to be the ban instead. And now, will it be the Gwen ban into a Rumble first pick, or will it be something else and they go for a bit of a trade?
Kalista still open.
Kalista is still open.
Yeah, I think that might be the safer ban in this situation. And then if they go Gwen, you go Rumble, and then hopefully pick up a jungle priority pick on the back of that.
Yep, they also know that Kellen is pretty good at Renata. Instead, they're just going to keep banning junglers.
What did Raptor do? Something, apparently, to anger D+, and triple jungle ban on red side coming through.
Kind of
tricky, I think, in this situation. Because I think ultimately Rumble can be played into Gwen. We've seen Gwen not be as successful in terms of win rate in the LPL compared to Nefiri. I think the right call might be just to secure the Kalista. You also have Kellen, who's been a fantastic Renata player. They go for the Gwen, so they're committing to that pick. I feel like D+ could honestly just go like Rumble Kalista here and be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think so too. See what she wants to go with. His Ambassador is up and available if he wanted to go toe-to-toe. That could be an opportunity here. But let's see, DK are known to be chefs. So we also, like, our predictions might state what the tier list says. It may not be what D+ does. However, that is a Rumble. And so it could just be Rumble Kalista, like you were talking about.
Yeah, a lot of the losses...
Israel.
Oh, interesting. So a lot of the losses for Gwen in the LPL have been against Rumble specifically. Pretty good matchup. You can just get in a Shroud, Toaster. But the Ezreal's an interesting one. So not opting to lean into the Kalista, perhaps trying to bait BNK FearX into it. But right now, because one of the things is if they took Kalista first pick, you could deny the Renata, and we've seen that happen a lot. They could just slam Kalista Renata right now. Ooh. Don't opt to looking at the Maokai instead. Maokai Yone, so not even a look in at this Kalista that's been so high prio.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And now it looks like Kalista, Kai'Sa probably going to be the two bans to come through on the side of DK, and they can really alleviate some of the pressure on the bottom side.
I do kind of like it though, because the jungle pool has already been pinched. If you were to grab Kalista Renata, your jungle pool is getting absolutely hammered. We do see a bit of Showmaker, Corki mid lane, no stranger to that pick, and playing 80 carries in the mid lane. A lot of spikes in the mid game. 2-item spikes for this D+ roster is going to be absolutely massive in this game. But BNK FearX have the duo we saw earlier of that Gwen, Yone, so strong in the late game. Not the Sejuani this time, but the Maokai to hold them still, and Kalista ban comes through. No real surprise there. The more surprise is that's a second rotation ban.
Yeah.
And it got this deep.
I also think maybe it's not a Kai'Sa ban because there's a lot of magic damage already on BNK.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's just an MF ban and you call it a day from there. Lily are going to be taken away from Lucid as the jungle bans continue. Of course, it was started by DK, but now there's 5 that have been taken off the board. 6 if you include the Maokai.
There's like MF, there's Ashe as well. I think are the big like prio picks that can kind of bully Ezreal out a little bit in the early levels. So maybe looking to try and trim the pool in that regard. Definitely seems like BNK FearX are just hammering at the jungle pool. Actually going for the Rakan ban here.
I wonder what that means as far as what Beryl wants to play.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to lean into a Braum in this situation, but obviously Rakan very good into Braum. We have seen like the MF Rakan be a pretty popular combo.
Yep. Braum Rumble is pretty good. Wouldn't mind that.
I feel like
there's another one.
I feel like you just want someone to hold them still, and Braum, you know, you kind of need people to stack the passive. In this situation, I think you just pick up your jungler, leave support counter pick for Beryl, would make the most sense. Unless you're really set on getting like a Leona. Danger of going to Leona is they could just slam Ashe Braum in return. So I think jungle makes the most sense here for Lucid.
I think it's an Ivern game. I feel like Ivern would be very, very strong with Ezreal Corki already locked in.
I feel like maybe you're waiting for next. He's getting buffs on the next patch. Maybe you're waiting for that. For
fair enough. Well, they are going to wait. Well, there it is. So
okay, I guess you just
I'm a DK whisperer.
Yeah. You're locked in, you're synced in with Beryl, right?
I am. We know that he makes a lot of the decisions, and sometimes if you have Genshin brain, it tends to meld. We join the hive, you know? Anyway, Diablo, what is he going to be locking away here? It could just be MF Leona. They could just keep it real simple. So MF already going to be locked in. What's the other option? MF Blitzcrank? Nah, it's Rel.
Yeah, I think Rel pretty good. Also can smash the shields from the Ivan, which is kind of niche interaction, but still can come into play. Leona comes through to no surprise to pair up with the Ezreal. And I think particularly when you have an Ivan, you really want that engaged support. You know,
yeah.
Especially, it works really well with Leona because when the Q hits, you get the gap closer for free to follow up with your stun. So yeah, I think BNK FearX, a lot of team fighting tools. You can think of how the Wombo combo is going to come together. A lot of hold them still and you fire. But D+'s mid-game spike is kind of absurd. And especially Ivan gets so much utility from his items around that point. I feel like if D+ set the pace of this game, they're just going to kind of dominate. And they're in a scenario where like top solo lanes are going to have a good amount of pressure.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. As well as the fact that there are 6 bans and then just 2 trees got put in the jungle. Kind of just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of works. I kind of like what we're seeing out of BNK though. Like, both of these drafts feel cohesive, but I feel like BNK is it's so much more of a keep it simple, stupid type composition.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no bells and whistles, just does what it says on the tin, whereas I feel like there's a lot more finesse necessary on the side of DK, and we know that they've finessed themselves into the ground before. You know, they just try and be a bit too tricky. This might be a bit of that flavor.
I think if this was like a slow-paced passive game, I think honestly BNK FearX would feel very comfortable, but I don't think D+ are a team who are going to play it slow, and especially with this composition, they're going to be trying to drive the pace of the game forwards, play around those 2-item spikes, play around the mid-game, and just blow the opponents out of the water.
Well, let's see how it goes as we jump into the rift for game number 1. Well, I know we are on the D+ side of Lore Park, but I feel like that was a much larger fan chant from them, regardless. Even though we are generally a little bit closer. Fans certainly out in force for DK here today.
Things do sound louder with closer proximity.
That does happen. However, it was like exponentially louder. So I feel like there was an extra degree of it being louder.
Maybe. For those people who keep it up with the live patch notes, Ivan's buff to his Q root duration is next patch. So not live right now.
Yep.
Still has a little bit of a lower root at early. But still, you can see the value it has in this composition. A lot of protection for these carries in this team. 280 carries to try and support with that.
You can see already, spotted on a ward is Raptor, but he's going to be starting on some Raptors.
Just living up to his namesake.
That's how it works. Vikla doing that thing where you stab the other Raptors.
Double Raptors start?
So many Raptors, man.
I've seen 3 Raptors in this game already.
This is crazy. Well, aiming and barrel. Let's see who's going to win the race to level 2 here. Of course, aiming pretty outspoken. Really likes Ezreal, by the way.
Yep. Oh, Lucid's going to take Raptors in this situation.
No.
He wrapped around to find the Raptors.
That's actually, a lot of wrapping.
He hasn't taken the Raptors yet. He's just, you know, starting off the Friends of the Forest so he can wrap around again and take
Wrapped
the Raptors.
around again.
Oh, man, I'm losing it.
Oh. Well, you can see, Showmaker should know that this is happening. Can exit, but still gets flashed on here by a Raptor. He's going to have to use his flash as well. The Showmaker, Frost Bomb, and Gatling Gun, so no Valkyrie. He's going to have to use his flash to escape that one. And Lucid's friends are just going to get killed by the other tree.
Yeah, so actually ended up using his Smite, so it doesn't have to secure that camp. And it looks like Raptor managed to wrap around back to his Raptors and secure them.
I think the use of the word wrapped there was unnecessary. I don't think you needed to do it.
No, I don't think so either.
Made it more
I think I've hit my budget. I don't know if you viewers know this, but casters actually have a budget for words. So if you use one word too many times, you're just excluded from using it for the rest of the cast. And I think I've hit that quota with that
Spawn
word.
and I actually had a cast in 2014 where we used up our entire, like, all of our lifetime quota of coming through.
Really?
Yeah. We're not allowed to use that ever again.
You just said it there.
I know. That was illegal.
Oh.
So I could be taken to caster jail after this game.
The security's looking at you.
Yeah. I'm going to ask for an exemption because I was just providing an example.
It was a quote.
Instead of actually using it.
Exactly.
But yeah, we said that so many times. I remember I watched it back and it was really hard. Because, okay, Beryl's going to go in, save us from this conversation for the moment. Aftershock has worn off, but you can see Diable taking a lot of damage. The wraparound from the other tree, though, coming in, and Beryl is overextended. He has to flash. There's a flash forward from Kellen, though. Twisted advance, and down goes the Leona. First blood for B&K.
This is what I love about lane swaps being good. You get those honest, true 2v2s, and then the jungler shows up and ruins it. It's a great gank there from Raptor, but you saw Beryl kind of playing everything perfect. And then unfortunately, jungler shows up and turns it around. And the fact that Diable didn't even end up using his flash in this situation. But Beryl lands this CC chain, and no cleanse initially from Diable in this situation. He ends up cleansing the follow-up Q, and then immediately Beryl ignites, but aiming does not want to commit here. Was ignited by Kellen, and Kellen kind of just untouched in the situation, just thriving in the chaos.
Yeah, I actually think that Diable not using his cleanse is what baited Beryl in, because I think Beryl tunneled on the fact that he needed to get cleanse before he could ignite, and then he can walk away.
You think Beryl is the sort of player to tunnel on that?
Yes. You were talking about barbecuing the Gwen. That is continuing to happen here as a tree battle is going to ensue, but Kellen makes it unfair. The crash down, but it's after the flash from Lucid, who goes into the brush. It is still an advantage. Wow, that Valkyrie forward, and there's Showmaker picking up the follow-up kill. I kind of thought they were going to be okay, but Showmaker said, nope, you are definitely not.
Yeah, gets the damage out, and Kellen, unfortunately, doesn't have that flash from the earlier play, so just gets caught with his pants around his ankles in that one. Once you kind of commit as that rel, really hard to get out again.
Oh, this is bringing me back to the conversation on the POG state about role-swapped Showmaker into AD carry. This Corki's pretty good, man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of knew it was going to be Ezreal bot and Corki mid, but if there's any player where I'm like, could we see Ezreal mid? It is him.
Yeah. It's him and Godby, who doesn't play League of Legends anymore and hasn't since, like, 2016.
Yeah.
But still, he was a great Ezreal mid.
Absolutely, and just great flash from Lucid there. If you eat that flash, the CC chain's coming in, and then Kellen, the dismounted walk of shame away.
Yeah, it's so slow. Yeah, wow, they were very nonchalant about that kill for Showmaker.
No showboating on his former teammate. I respect that.
Nope. Love to see it. As Aiming and Beryl have switched towards his top side once again. Fight for the grubs could be underway, but you can see Raptor and Clear already there. Control what goes down, though. And so let's see whether Lucid's going to get the support. Steps into his brush. Can they get one of these? That's the big question. Smite going to come on through. I think that spells the exit here for B&K as Raptor moves back down. There it is. So not going to be getting any portions of feats of strength or anything like that as Kellen, Hex flashing in. Just going to be a Valkyrie away from Showmaker. No worries there.
Yeah, good move from Showmaker there just to dodge away from that one. And starting to build a pretty substantial lead. Obviously, the kill is a big factor, but even outside the kill, has a sizable CS advantage over Vikla. And considering top lane is a little bit ahead, mid lane's a little bit ahead, in fairness, I think Clear's done a decent job of kind of catching up.
Yeah.
Considering how rough things looked. Bot lane, though, we've seen Aiming fall a decent amount behind, so things overall pretty even. I think B&K, FairX, happy that they managed to kind of mitigate some of that. Yeah,
for now. I feel like the scaling conversation, you know, the power spike conversation is really interesting in this game. You mentioned it already, you know, like there's a lot of Trinity forces. Even the first item spike of Liandry's Torment for the Rumble is fantastic. So it's almost like a one-item spike composition here on the side of DK. Getting into like 2-item spike territory is kind of the big deal, but even just hitting a Trinity Force is really, really strong. DK in the early stages, once these items come through, are going to be very strong. As now Clear does put down the circle. He's immune a bit, but not quite immune enough, as he's going to have to back away. All right, Kellen and Diable coming on down towards his bottom side. Bullet time softens up Shu somewhat, but he does have a scrap shield, so he's all right. Oh dear. Daisy getting the knock-up. There's another Zenith Blade in, and Aiming collects the kill. Exhaust not quite enough there. Clear going for that Summoner Spell combination, as we've seen in the past, but Wasn't enough to save him at all.
And not only the kill for Eamon, we get some plates as well in his pocket. The Gold King definitely appreciating that one.
Can we go back to the first blood for BNK? Because that was such a good moment, and now everything's a bad moment.
They really peaked at that point.
This is not what you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of options. I think ultimately now Raptors is level 6. Pretty great tool if you can find a good angle. You know, I nearly said it. I nearly said my forbidden phase that over budgeted.
Oh, no.
If you can move spherically towards...
Spherically, eh? That's a great one. You know what? I think you're allowed to say wrapped again. Like, I think you're just allowed.
No.
It's more annoying when you're trying not to. I'm gonna talk to the council, the caster council, and they're gonna say as well. They're like, "Oh, we're sick of all."
Oh, Beryl's moving spherically towards the ball.
He is. He has wrapped around, and he does get himself a little bit of a shield there. Yeah, not going to be doing enough damage as Leona and Ivern.
Not enough spherical movement.
Not enough spherical movement from aiming.
Yeah.
Who just moved a little too obtusely. Oh, God. We need to get out of the thesaurus. Try and work out what we can say instead of rap.
I feel like it's such a struggle now. Like, we're just saying normal words, and now we've made it so weird.
Yes. And they have encased around. Actually, you know what? I have access. I'm gonna thesaurus rap and see what happens.
Yeah, and I think this is making the problem worse and not better. Some good moves though.
Ooh, do you know what is another great word for rap?
Hit me with it.
Suave.
Okay.
Apparently that is I don't know, because rap is kind of awkward. Anyway, Vikler is in a bit of trouble. Showmaker throwing some rockets around and things like that. Yeah, Nature's Grasp just used defensively.
Maybe the TP overkill. I guess the intention is they wanted to contest Grubs with Rumble anyway, but this kind of gives Clear some alone time with the tower. And Gwen very good at taking alone time, especially since Showmaker doesn't have TP either. There's no one who can come bot. It's just things coming out. BNK Fearax, I think they're just getting a little bit of a free injection of gold right now for their Gwen.
Yeah, well, at least there's that. Aiming, taking a bit of damage here in this mid lane. The rest of the team has parceled on over towards the Grubs. And Lucid able to take a couple of those. 3 apiece likely to be the answer here, as Vikler has also sheathed over. Sheath is a weird word. I'm just looking at my thesaurus.
She has. I mean, I can understand how that could work for rap, but not really like.
Yeah,
rap.
That's the best part, is that the context that you're using rap has nothing to do with a lot of the other ways that you can use rap. So the thesaurus is really going hard. All right, bullet time. Ooh, there's a bit of a slow from a solar flare, but it's just a trade of ultimates in the end. And it looks like DK are just going to swaddle on over towards their Nexus and buy some items and stuff.
Yes, good plan. We did see Clay got 2 plates, and then they still managed to get in to take that final Grubs. I think BNK Fearax pretty happy with how that went. Still at a bit of a deficit. And I think particularly, you know, we talked about those Triforce Manamune users. Those are the 2 who have the lead right now over the lane opponents. So a little bit intimidating, especially Showmaker has just completed his.
Yeah.
Item parity, aiming kind of cheating. So he has the magical footwear, and as a result, he had extra money for control ward. So
unfair.
Very unfair.
Sheer just going to catch this wave towards the top side of the map, aiming in Diablo, facing off in this mid lane. All is quiet on Summoner's Rift. BNK, you can see, prepared for a Mountain Drake to spawn. Showmaker comes down, we'll pick up these minions. Having a look at the feats of strength, we've just got 1 more kill to be picked up from DK, a couple for BNK, but nothing really locked in just yet. First turret getting closer and closer on the top and bottom lanes for either team. As Raptor coming on in, Showmaker could be in trouble. Raptor had enveloped over from the river.
Yes, he really did. Dragon being set up for now. With the fact that BNK Fearax already have 1 dragon, I think D+ definitely want to contest this.
Beryl.
Leandri's just came in for Shiru, running from base. Lucid has the Redemption as well, the Active being a great tool in this, so I'm actually a little concerned for BNK FairX for this one. If you look at their carries, the Yone and the MF, they're just sitting on components. I think this is a bad fight to take.
Yeah, these are big item spikes. And, okay, Magnustorm still brings Callan in, but there's the equalizer. They do not want to engage on top of that one, but already the Rel has gone down. Vikla gone pretty ballistic, but he does have to go back to that unbound Salty Arbol. Going nuts. Beryl gets the shield, and he interrupts the ultimate, still goes down. It's a crazy fight, but it is 4 for 2 in favor of DK.
And I think the item advantage really came in clutch there. You know, the Redemption heal that came through helped mitigate that initial engage, and then Showmaker and Aiming both kind of just free hitting on the back end of that fight.
Well, Vikla, missed that Q. That might have been enough to kill him, actually, or might have just been very, very close. But anyway, let's have a look at this one more time.
So this engage comes through. They don't really connect that well onto Aiming and Showmaker, and this melee in the middle, the Redemption keeps Shiwu and Beryl healthy for much longer. Actually a big reason why they survived, and Diablo has to flash in to try to finish them off.
Oh no, and Clear also finding himself in a really awkward position where Showmaker was able to use the Dragon to help kill the Gwen.
Yeah, I think if you imagine a situation where those two just died immediately, different fight, and I think BNK FairX really could have taken it. I don't think their approach to the fight was wrong, although they didn't really layer CC too well on Showmaker. But yeah, I think it just shows items in League of Legends kind of strong.
Yeah, it's kind of important, and we were talking about that one item spike. All of those items had been picked up. Redemption, Double Trinity Force, and the Leandris. And so it was kind of one of the worst times to fight. The next worst time is when you have double Muramana and a Moonstone, and then it's even worse. But this first one's real tough. As BNK, they're looking for a couple of items, right? Like Diablo kind of wants 2, you want a couple on Clear as well. And Vikla at least needs the Blade of the Ruin King, probably the best one-item spike champion, though, on this team.
I think, honestly, later in the game, when Vikla and Clear have, like, 3-4 items, I think that's really where I'm thinking this team is a PowerPoint. Also, with Diablo and the MF, you could honestly build, like, Executioners and Serpent's Fang, and just the AoE you provide, Grievous Wounds on everyone, shield reduction on everyone, a lot of value versus the Ivern, but right now, we're really in prime time for D+. They're putting pressure down in this mid tower. MF pretty good at contesting. Like, normally Ezreal's one of these champions who are really good at securing mid prio and really hard to walk up to. MF does a good job because you can just heal out the damage. But not if you get caught by some CC. So good dodge away there. Yep. Obviously, the strut making it harder to connect. But with no flash and cleanse, if Beryl finds something, Diablo is just dead.
Yeah. Well, Raptor doing his best to clear out some vision. Callan is bundled up over here as well. And it looks like a fight for the Herald might be ensuing. Showmaker can move down towards the river from here, but wants to go for a back first. Has teleport available. See how close to an item spike he's going to be as he does go back home. Not quite at that Manamune just yet as Daisy comes out. Callan has that wraparound, or sorry, has that wind around.
Better.
As the Nature's Grasp comes out. And no Magnustorm angle here. DK, great positioning. I think they knew where the Rel was this whole time. Playing around it beautifully. And BNK realizing that they're overstaying their welcome. Beryl still wants to fight, so he walks into 3 people, just presses the blast cone. That's going to get him out of there. Diablo moves in, and an immediate bullet time is weird. But I liked the gusto from the young man.
They're still trying to fight this.
Yeah, Lucid has the smite. Raptor can move in as well. It's a tree smite battle as the Solar Flare is going to stun him up. In goes Beryl once again. Vikla uses the ult to get himself out. The Herald goes over to the Ivern, and down goes the Maokai. The tree battle we can see has been won by the one with the skinnier legs. And Diablo just knew there was no way in. That is a lot of value, and DK just going to utilize Shelly immediately.
I think BNK FairX, they try to set up, they try to find an angle, it didn't show itself, and I think you just have to make the call to back away. They hung around for too long, Jungler goes down, Herald goes down too, and now they're losing even more than they would have if they've just said, look, we can't contest this, give it up. I think it's difficult to make those decisions in the moment, but you just end up in a much worse position if you don't.
Yeah. Charge going to be interrupted there, so that's at least something, but it's a 4,000 gold lead. Feats of Strength now over to DK, and the worst part is it only gets harder from here until you get past that big hump that is those 2 item spikes we were talking about. DK just kind of cruising into it.
Yeah, I think an issue, Kellen never really found the angle, and also both Aiming and Showmaker have flash and are mobile carries. On the other side, Raptor has no flash, Diablo has no flash. It's so much harder for those two to make their way into a fight. And then this ult here, I think this is just a lack of synergy. I think maybe he was thinking Kellen might fly in on the back of it, but if you're not holding them still, you're not going to do any meaningful damage with that ultimate.
Yeah, they've got to want to go there. And they just didn't. They were able to just get out. Speaking of getting out, Vikla does, but he can't offer his damage to the rest of the fight. They're on the wrong side of the battlefield, and DK really just kind of surgically removing BNK from that. Really nicely played, and that's going to equate in that 4K gold lead that we were talking about before. Having a look at the gold difference over time here, and it is slowly but surely drifting towards DK's direction. And Muramana completed transformation done for Showmaker. Still need to transform it here for Aiming, and that's going to be pretty quick. 3-0-2 and 2-0-3 for both of the carries. Precisely where DK wants their money to be.
And with a 0-0-8 Ivan, 6 Dark Seal stacks, about to finish our second item.
Oh, man.
I feel like you can start making a play for Atakan as soon as that comes in.
Yeah, you kind of just want to fight at any possible moment. As Diablo moving up, avoiding some of these Mystic shots quite nicely here as Aiming misses 3 of them in a row. Nicely done there from Diablo, although he does get hit by that one, and that is going to lose him the trade. Feels bad.
But then he just heals on the wave. Doesn't matter.
WQ just miss. And he's got a Bloodthirster, so it barely even matters anyway.
Yep. Now it's going to set up for this Dragon coming through. She was just pushed in the top wave and does have TP.
You know, 50% of the game so far have been Cloud Soul. That's actually not quite 50%, but it is very close.
I trusted you to have that
sorry,
stat.
The math was just off. I apologize. There are 2 games per series. But it's pretty close to 50-50. So I'm very, very happy for the cadence of Cloud Soul so far today.
It's good omen for Cloud Soul fans.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Now, I don't think you're going to find a way in here. It's already gone.
They do at least see that it is disintegrating. As Kellen has a bit of an angle here, not entirely sure what for, nor did he really know because there's no vision in that area, as now they think that they found Showmaker, but he has a control ward. And so BNK, they look for some scraps after losing an objective and do not find them, and now Diablo finds himself a little bit too pushed up. And he's going to have to back away. And so now DK just looking for another objective to try and start another fight. As Lucid was making friends with that Aiming, you did not need to hit it with a Mystic Shot. It's rude.
He's a gold king, of course he does.
That's fair enough.
That's how he operates. But yeah, I feel like in this situation, BNK VRX are kind of looking for these angles, these picks, because they know a 5v5 is not going to go well for them. But I feel like D+ are playing very respectfully whenever they have a lack of vision or around the vision that they do have. And again, the targets you want to jump onto are so hard to pin down. Especially Maokai is such a slow engager. Either you're like running in and you're able to flash on them, or like your ult just takes too much time. And then as you're on the cork, you just realistically aren't going to get hit by those.
Yep. Well, looks like DK are slowly but surely unfolding their way towards an Atakan, which is the only sort of objective that is on the map right now of the neutral variety. Beryl looking for an opportunity, has a whole bunch of shields as he moves towards the brush in the river. And so slowly but surely, DK utilizing their control, but I think they could be pressing a little harder.
Yeah, I think honestly at this point, they can really start to hard deny vision, and if someone steps up, I think they can just take them out extremely quickly. They have moved Shiwa up here after pushing in the bot wave, so it looks like their intent is to get control of this topside river.
Yeah. All right, Raptor throws down the Nature's Grasp, but Beryl, he had the Zenith Blade in the air, and now Raptor is split off from the rest of his team. Solar Flare needs to be flashed as Raptor gets himself out of the way. Kellen finding the Magna Storm onto 3. Vikla dives in as well, but he melts instantly. Kellen gonna follow suit as Clear is not immune even a little bit. Double kill for Aiming, and now they'll take the Atakan after taking 3 off the map from BNK.
There you go. You see BNK VRX try and make the counter engage, but the skill shots don't connect. And if you're slightly off against this composition, you're gonna have a bad time. Lucid coming in with redemption, able to keep everyone healthy. And now this mid-tier 1, a very poor compensation for this Atakan.
And it was ruinous as well. And so that means you get a whole bunch extra. I feel like It's more of like in the time opportunistic as the Voracious one, whereas if you lose Ruinous and you have no control of the area, all of that extra experience and stats, oh man.
That's the thing is like Voracious, you really have to capitalize on the buff to make it happen. Ruinous, it's like once you've got the buff, like it's there forever. It's going to boost those dragons they've been picking up. So Cloud Soul going to even potentially be more of an issue, especially given that like Rel and Maokai engaging against these targets is already seeming so difficult for BNK FRX. You add that extra movement speed, nightmare scenario for them.
And now those 2 item spikes we were talking about are all achieved. There is a couple of them picked up here for BNK. Clear going for the old build in the Riftmaker as well as the Nash's Tooth. Haven't been seeing that as much more recently. It is a fun one. A little bit more of a battle Gwen.
Not sure on the value necessarily over here because limited time you can spend in melee range.
Yeah, feels like a 1v1 style of build.
Maybe hoping to get some pressure on the side lane, but I feel like with the pace of the game right now, you know, it's a minute till Baron, it's a minute 20 till 3rd Dragon for D+. I'm not sure how
Barrel's gone in.
viable that is.
And then he's gone out.
You can see just from this sort of line of scrimmage from D+, how deep they're pushing into BNK FRX's side of the map. They get mid sort of prio control over the jungle, they move down. Maokai ult comes out to try to deny this wave pressure. Doesn't really do that much though.
Oh, Solar Flare going to be avoided there by Vikla, but cannot unbind his soul now for the next little while. Daisy going in, going aggressive. Kellen taking a bunch of poke damage as well. DK, I think, are just going to be able to push this one down. They've got a few minions left remaining. So Inner Turret providing even more money for this team. 6,000 gold now the lead. That may just increase. There's a wraparound angle here from Clear, but not going to be able to find any joy.
Come on, you have the thesaurus.
Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Yeah, an enclose around angle, a cover around angle, a scarf around angle.
Scarf around angle?
Yeah, it's a bit of a scarf around angle.
That did look like a scarf around angle.
Yeah, he scarfed quite well, I would say. Or shawled. He shawled his way into the mid lane.
You know what?
So many options, and I just said it anyway.
Yeah, I feel like shoulder around in the mid lane. I think that fit the most, I think.
Yeah, may have peaked on shoulder. Maybe we'll just overuse that from now on.
Just gotta rotate the repertoire.
Yeah. Wow, I don't even know that word. There's a bunch of words, like a mantle? Is a mantle apparently a rap?
I think it's getting to the point where it's just too confusing.
I don't know. Thankfully, Beryl is engaged, so maybe we'll focus on that one. Root Call landing here from Lucid as well, and you can see they're taking no damage. Solar Flare not doing too much as Diablo not allowed to have a good time. True Shot Barrage is also going to hit Vikla, but just obliterates the Misfortune. And now the rest of BNK are just falling like a house of cards. Double kill now for Shiu as Lucid trying to look for a flash angle, doesn't quite get it as Aiming is angry. Vikla trying to escape, but remember, he has to go back. And so he's just dead. Aiming able to line up the Q nicely on that one. Kellen, yeah, his former teammates just going to take him down. And now, inhibitor turret number 1 going to fall. It's an ace for DK, as they have just, it feels like, had control for this entire game. They're taking an inhibitor in the mid lane whilst taking Baron.
There was that first blood, you know.
That's true, that's true. That was the good moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, Diablo here, he was like, Raptor, help me, but this was actually the Raptor camp and not his teammate.
And actually, that's Cloakter. Thank you.
And unfortunately, Raptor was busy dying over here. Presumably didn't call out Diablo help me, but maybe should have in this situation. I think at this point the gold lead is so insanely in favor of D+, and the fact that you have this Ivan who just makes it so much harder to even kill a single target. Yeah, it's looking rough.
Yeah, it's just feeling like it is circling the drain just a bit. And DK now with an 11,000 gold lead. Insurmountable is another phrase that we often utilize here in the LCK. Might need to get a thesaurus out for that one as well, but we are stuck on rap at the moment.
I think it's always interesting when you have those words where like you never use the, like we say insurmountable, we never say surmountable, you know? Yeah. I don't know who surmountable is.
Who even is surmountable? That's what I was trying to work out.
Why do we use this name so frequently, but only with in front of it?
Certain things that we will never know, and it's the mystery that makes it, you know? That's what we like. And if we found out, then maybe the magic would be gone, as this inhibitor is also gone.
That is a deep flank.
Yeah.
This is a surmountable flank.
Well, let's see whether Kellen can find the angle. Viklet doesn't find the ultimate, and Aiming gets right out of there, back into position to do damage. Raptor wants to defect. He's gone to the enemy base, and Diablo is alone once again.
Yeah, I'm just not convinced that D+ actually took damage there.
Yeah, well, Clear did. He was not immune.
Yeah. Did have his exhaust. Didn't use it. Don't think it would have mattered. And now D+ will look to put them out of their misery in this game.
They have ponchoed on over towards these Nexus turrets. They're going to dive the fountain as well, and Beryl is going to be able to do so comfortably. The tree is backing somewhere in Narnia, but the Nexus is dead, and DK start off the LCK season with a bang.
I mean, it's a bit of the D+. We love, you know, the Ivan pick, a little bit less common to see that one. So a little bit of that flair, but honestly, a lot more straightforward and serious, I think, than maybe they were in the latter end of the LCK Cup. But still, this dominant force, we kind of expected them to be against a team like BNK FearX.
Yeah, I think this was also, like, the Ivan pick isn't necessarily an LCK staple, but the composition itself, like, that's an archetype, right? Yep. And they utilized it beautifully. I think that, you know, going back to Aiming's Ezreal, definitely a lot of comfort there, but Showmaker has been fantastic on Corki in the past, so I think it really fits DK. BNK definitely back to the drawing board on that one.
I will say, though, you know, maybe D+ have fallen into BNK FearX's plan, because these picks they took in game 1, they can't actually use again, so
that's the biggest Beryl fan ever? That is so incredibly impressive. We are going to go to a short break. I'm going to see where she got that t-shirt. We'll be back with the space and then game number 2. See you soon.
여기 좀 빨려.
아 괜찮아.
괜찮아.
야 뒤태 시야.
빠지면서 리포 팀. 빠지면서 해봐. 야
여기서 보자. 걸자. 야나 미카이 봐줄게. 너네 미카이 봐. 안줘. 시야.
안줘. 나 탱커야 탱커.
피가 안 돼.
그래. 그웬. 이리요. 죽여.
그렇게 달려.
내가 소리는 또 이상하게 걸려.
어쩔 수 없어. 안 보면. 노플.
나 풀었어.
부시. 오케이. 쉐이드 줬어.
Look like a complete stomp, so back to the drawing board for this game 2. No more Ivan or Rumble to deal with, so that's something, but they will let the Ambessa go through for good reason.
Yep, Ambessa going to be banned this time around, of course, with Gwen and Rumble being left up on the table. Ambessa was not necessarily the ban, but now with those two cut out, I think the Ambessa certainly does skyrocket, especially when it's Shield, because he is very, very good at the champion. Understandable.
I think probably just open with the Neferi ban again. I'm not sure really D+ needed to change their draft strategy massively in this situation.
I don't think the onus is on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a saying to do with broken things and potentially not
mending them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that might be astute here. Vara's going to come through as a ban, so Jason Skarner with the other 2 bans, they could look to prioritize either of those and ban the other, as it looks like D+ is just going the triple jungle ban route.
Yeah, I think if it ain't broke, like you mentioned, do not then put it back together again. Because it's already together. Jace and then the Sejuani ban, I guess.
I think you don't necessarily need to, because if BNK FearX first pick the Skarner, you can take the Sejuani as a match. Also, I think a big reason for the Sejuani ban was because Sejuani paired with like Gwen Yone is so scary. So I think they're having a bit more of a discussion about this one because they feel like they can be a bit more...
Kalista is still up.
Yeah, if you're worried about Kalista, you could just ban that one away.
Certainly an option. Let's see where they decide to go. You just take away Renata from Kellen as well. Is certainly one of his better champions, but they will just stick to what they did.
So BNK Fearax in this situation could look to just prioritize the Skarner. If they want to lock in a jungler early and have that as an edge, Kalista is also an option, something that we often see prioritized early on. Although we did see it struggle a bit at first stand with that first pick and teams picking to counteract it, but they will go for it. Now the question is D+ going to pick the Renata denial? We have seen like the Nico come out as a response. I will say though, particularly just for Kellen, really good on that Renata pick. So I wouldn't want to leave that to him, especially paired with the Kalista.
I imagine Beryl doesn't care. So maybe they just pick strong stuff.
Yeah, that does sound like Beryl. And you are the Beryl Whisperer, so...
Yeah, I don't know whether it's a good idea, but I imagine he is not too afraid. As right now, the Skarner is, of course, very high priority. That will be locked away. And without the Sejuani there, does mean that the Skarner value does certainly skyrocket. There's a Gnar pickup as well, and it's kind of what we were expecting. They just don't really seem too worried.
I feel like this is kind of putting pressure on because you want to secure the Renata, I feel like, for BNK Fearax, and then you can either match the jungle, and you can't pick anything to the Gnar. They can't ban away more top laners after. Or if you match the Gnar, there's already a lot of junglers banned, and they can thin the pool even more, so...
Ooh,
they will prioritize the jungler here, picking up that Xin Zhao for Raptor. I think the Renata, you surely want to secure that for Kalen. And then top lane, you don't have anything to answer the Gnar. So D+, I think, really got into a comfortable position for their solo lanes off the back of this. I think in this situation, probably just pick up if there's an AD carry support you want right now. I mean, you could take mid, but I feel like the benefit of having only one solo lane picked is you can ban away top laners. You know, you pick Gnar, you ban away the top laners going into it.
Yep.
We'll see what
Showmaker is having a really good time. Does that mean he just blind picks Kassadin here? No, it's Cho'Gath instead. We've seen a bit of the Cho'Gath mid across the world. I believe I saw it for the first time in LEC a few days ago or a week ago, something like that. It won, but it shouldn't have. Based on what I saw.
The fast reset Cho'Gath, you know. I'm sure Chronicler is enjoying this. Obviously a big fan of D+, and has been playing it a ton in solo queue. Basically playing around the fact that if Cho'Gath gets in melee range, it's not a good time, right? And you can get so much movement speed on the back of this build.
Isn't it Shirelia's Rush or something like that?
Yes. And you got the Symbiotic Souls, you can just reset whenever you want. And basically the Moby Boots effect. So yeah, pretty powerful. They will ban away the Azir, obviously someone who has so much DPS, and those soldiers not fun to play into. I think any picks that are kind of mobile in the mid lane, you don't want to necessarily go up against.
Well, Ashe going to be taken away.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, Varus already banned, MF gone away. A lot of those lane bullies that Kalista's going to necessarily struggle into taking off the cards. And you may be thinking, well, what about Caitlyn Draven? Both of which actually got nerfs on this patch. So definitely the teeth taken out of them.
Yeah, so not as much of an answer. Aatrox going to be taken away from Clear, though, as far as the response into the Gnar. Jack's still available, something that we've seen, you know, many players have differing opinions on, but sometimes can be considered a good pick into the Gnar. See whether that is where Clear is going to go. Does mean you got some Bash brothers in the Xin Zhao and the Jax as well to fight on the top side. Not a lot of range, but certainly a lot of dive potential and movement. Ziggs removed.
I'm kind of wondering about this bot lane because the fact that they, like, Cho'Gath wasn't going to get banned by BNK Fearax. The fact that they wanted to pick both bot laners after the second rotation of bans.
Ah, Senna. That's Senna Cho'Gath. Is it Senna Cho'Gath?
It might just be Senna Cho'Gath, yeah.
Ha. Well, that's actually really cute because now they can just use it as a flex. And Vikla has to blind pick, basically.
It's interesting they clearly didn't think there was any chance of this and didn't opt to ban it. But maybe that was kind of the value of D+, is they had it as a flex option.
Yeah.
And we're like, if we get the Senna, we'll go Senna Cho'Gath. If we don't, we won't. And to be fair, they can still flex, right? They could still put it mid and put something else with the Senna. This is basically a situation where if you hit one CC from one of them, the CC gets laid and Kalista's going to have a bad time, so...
Yeah, and I believe this was a bot lane debuted by Gumakeria a little while back. when they were kind of just dominating every bottom lane matchup ever.
Yeah.
This one wasn't as successful, sort of cropped up for a little while, as the Ahri will be the pickup here for Vikla. And now we'll just have to find out whether it's going to be Showmaker or whether it's going to be Aiming playing this Cho'Gath. Unless, you know, Beryl plays the Cho'Gath instead. You never know. Maybe it's
like
farming Beryl.
I think I'd
Gold King Beryl, let's go.
yeah, I can see Beryl playing the Cho'Gath, but also
Oh
like
no.
they're deliberating.
He's laughing too much as Talia. Wow, that's really not as interesting. So it will be the center Cho'Gath confirmed on the bottom side of the map.
This is a bulky team composition from D+. Into, you know, I feel like the Ahri's gonna kind of struggle. You need to get really access on these key targets, and with the Unraveled Earth and like the portal screen.
It is.
Yeah.
Beryl's playing the Cho'Gath.
I think this makes more sense. You
I
know?
love it.
I feel like with Carrier Guma, it's like, oh, Carrier's playing the 80 carry
Yeah,
support.
yeah.
Like, you know, come on. But I think this makes sense. I will say, though, Aiming, your chances of getting Gold King, not looking good if you're playing center here.
And thank goodness he got his Ezreal game in the books, you know, beforehand, because at least now he can feel like he had money in the last game, at least. This game, not going to be as much, unless they just get a whole bunch of kills all over the place. Get the upset, BNK FearX. See whether they can manage to do so. It certainly will be that. Based on what we saw in the first game, it's going to 100% be necessary. Oh man, the demons that are DK, especially
This
when
is just such a D+ move.
it is such a D+ move. You're exactly right. And that's what I was going to say. Like, they are so good at punching down. This team is like, and look, it might sound mean, but it is true.
Yeah.
When they think they're better, they like the confidence, the amount that they get from the confidence is very, very high. They need to play with that confidence all the time. And sometimes I guess it does backfire, like against Gen.G with the good old Kled pickup. But this is a very fun composition. Like you were saying, extraordinarily beefy. See whether they have the damage as we jump into the Rift for Game 2. Oh my god, it's the best skin as well. Gentleman Cho'Gath is one of my favorites.
It's peak.
Time. Oh god, up you go. Oh, it's just the best.
All right, I have a question I have to ask you.
What's that?
Okay. We know D+ like to get very hype when we see their voice comms, okay? Do you think at some point in this game, Beryl will eat someone and then Showmaker in the voice comms will make the gobble?
Oh, I guaranteed
he
will.
I think if Showmaker was playing the Cho'Gath, it wouldn't be a question. It'd 100% happen.
And this composition's so good as well because you can have Lucid pick up the champion and then Showmaker can use his flick like a ladle and just flick it into the open maw of Beryl on the Cho'Gath, who just gobbles them up.
Just feed Beryl.
That is actually, I really want that combo to happen. Impale, into Seismic Shove, into Gobble.
Yeah, I feel like one of the issues I'm having with this BNK FearX comp into this specifically is that, like, I think Raptor and Vikla are going to have a really tough time getting up close against this composition.
Ooh, handshake.
The positive aspect, though, is the spot lane 2v2. Kellen, really good on this Renata, and the Callisto Renata, you know, you're playing a melee farming champion.
Yeah, it's not so great.
Yeah, have fun.
This is a we'll sort it out in the late game type bottom lane. One where you're going to try to wait for that sort of 3.5 minute mark and then exit, perhaps. We'll see what they do decide to do. Piercing Darkness just to try and get Aiming's health bar a little bit further back up. And it has been 1,461 days, and Beryl won with it. Because technically this is support Cho'Gath, but it's actually not. Which is weird, because it actually should be the Gumayushi game that happened more recently, but that was technically bot Cho'Gath.
Yeah.
Because right now, Aiming and Beryl have kind of role swapped. But we're having a look at a little bit of a battle towards the top side here. As, oh dear. Okay, we've got a slight zoom in as well. Oh, the threaded volley angle just gorgeous as Vikla one more auto, and there's the flash for it. Solo kill for Showmaker, and Vikla's woes continue here in game 2.
Not a good start. You know, we're talking a lot about this bot lane matchup, but mid lane just going that way already. I think this Ahri is going to have a rough time.
Oh, it's not what you want to see. As Diablo and Kellen are at least a sign of good things here on this bottom side, but it's kind of to be expected. Up you go. I need to do the voice lines because we've got the Korean one, and so he doesn't have those lines. We're going to see Showmaker's perspective here, and that threaded volley angle was 100% what did him in. As he gets the
Flash auto at the end.
I'm really glad that he has the shocked Teemo, and he made exactly the right sound for shocked Teemo as well.
Honestly, he's great at doing the sound effects.
Oh, he is.
I feel like, honestly, we could just, over the course of his career,
Vikla, why are we taking turret shots?
we could just record like every sound effect that Showmaker has done, and someone should make an audio pack where like all your sounds are just Showmaker.
That would sell so much. I imagine if you could buy in the shop.
It would sell out. It's a digital product, and yet it would sell out.
And I know, like, Tasteless and Artosis did it for StarCraft 2. Like, there is their own voice pack, as Clear, taking a lot of damage here as well. Same as, like, Caster Jern and a lot of the famous StarCraft commentators did that for StarCraft 1 Remaster when it came out. We need the Showmaker voice line pack for League of Legends.
100%.
Make it happen, right? We need to send that email.
It's just free money.
It's free real estate. As Diablo going to get snared up momentarily. You can see BNK still pretty happy with how things are going towards the bottom side. Aiming, taking some souls where he can get him.
This is the point where it starts to get a bit threatening, though, because if you do eat CC from this center Cho'Gath, you
They're
will...
winning in farm. I guess there is a wave that's still going.
It'll just get laid, and you'll end up getting bullied out. There's also so much stain from a center Cho'Gath, so obviously Diablo Kellen want to chip them down, look for kill pressure, but...
Up you go.
Oh.
Okay, Beryl could be in trouble now. Does get into the brush, but there is a ward put down immediately. The flash out from Beryl. And he is at least going to be able to escape for now. The Ren not quite enough. As Showmaker could be getting a visit here from Raptor, but does have that control ward. Raptor instead just going to head towards his Chemtech Drake. Just to take that one down first. Is aiming. Not a lot of blue stuff left. As Lucid has that Giant's Belt and is now looking to make Clear's life difficult. Shu is relatively low though. Does have Meganar coming up. There's the hop skip. And the flash out from Clear after he uses his trinket as well.
That was nearly perfect timing though. Shiwu hitting level 6 and about to hit Meganar, but unfortunately just couldn't find the connection there onto the Jax.
I think that the Narbard like just barely didn't make it, and so he couldn't activate Meganar with his ult or something.
Yeah.
A bit awkward.
A little bit unfortunate, but either way, still gets the flash from Clear, and Lucid will just trade objectives. We do see pings coming out though. BNK Fearx have swapped to top side. They should be in time actually to deny one of these grubs at least.
Well, Lucid hasn't used his flash just yet. Sorry, Smite. Does use it in order to lock that one down. Can walk through this wall if you would like to. As Raptor doesn't have Smite either. Kellen going to be moving over though, and that should mean that Lucid does have to vacate, and he will do so. So that is just one of the grubs going over to BNK. And we just have one objective for BNK and one kill for DK. All we're up to as far as the feats are concerned. Handshake. Ooh, Shu, not feeling polite today. Which is going to help him out here. Is aiming moving towards the mid lane. And Clear versus Beryl is now the matchup that we're witnessing on the bottom side of the map.
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, what a world we're living in. It's beautiful.
And Vikla continuing to have some struggles in this mid lane matchup. Not helped by aiming showing up.
Yeah, it's not necessarily spelling a massive lead as far as farm is concerned, but I don't think we're expecting Showmaker to dominate this matchup, right? The Talia into the Ahri.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this matchup a lot, and obviously the mobility of the Ahri kind of skirt around the Unraveled Earth when you have your ultimate. There's a lot of skill that comes down the matchup, but it just feels like if you're losing this much early, you're never going to have a good time.
Oh dear. Beryl is going to be discovered as the flash forward from Kellen lands the handshake as well. Beryl is very dead. Diablo able to lock that one down in the end. And sometimes you just overextend. You think that your Rupture has scouted the brush and you're wrong.
Oh, but he gobbled a minion and he did get a stack, so...
There you go.
Maybe that's just what he needed to do in the moment.
We're gonna have a look at this one more time. Yep, they sidestep, and then immediately Fate's Call comes out, and Beryl is dead.
Yeah, flashes Beryl. He honestly does everything he can. The Rupture's pretty good, but the flash from Kellen secures the kill. Unfortunately, aiming not there to offer support in the moment. But Beryl speeding back to lane.
Oh, look at him go. He's trying to put items together as best he can. Hextech Cookie completed first. Looks like a little bit of a deviation from the builds that we've been seeing.
Yeah, I think a bit of a different vibe compared to the solo lane Cho'Gath was seen.
He wants to dash cannon them instead.
He does.
I respect it.
Dash and ult. Powerful strat.
I kind of love it.
It is such a barrel move.
See how much value they're going to be able to get, as once again we see a seismic shove connecting onto Vikla. Showmaker just landing every button possible and avoiding as much damage as he can at the same time.
Not getting better.
Yeah, he's kind of getting schooled here in this matchup.
Yeah.
One of the seismic shoves does miss. I feel like Vikla did have a fair bit of criticism last season, and it's not looking like it's getting better as we move into this one. By last season, of course, I mean the LCK Cup. Xiu now finds himself with a whole lot of bad guys around. Lucid will be able to take the crab as it's an Infernal Drake coming up in a minute and a half.
Yeah, BNK FairX already have a dragon in pocket.
Oh dear, Xiu. Oh, has that Meganar position. Look at the wall, it is gorgeous! Wallop immediately going to get cleansed though as Diablo dancing around this one. That is the ultimate, not connecting. So Renata that goes down first. Xiu had a lot of sticks in him, but Diablo not quite enough as Vikla gets immediately stunned, then impaled. Cannot clean up the kill under Xiu. Does manage to help take down aiming as Lucid just crashes Raptor into the wall. Xiu still offering as much damage as he can, but these health bars are so low. Diablo dancing around this fight and manages to take out all of them.
Diablo comes in clutch, manages to find the kill, so many low health bars. It looks like D+ was getting away with murder there. But the AD carry comes in clutch and the Kalista is able to clean house.
Oh man, let's have a look at it one more time here as this looked like a brilliant engage from DK, that Weaver's Wall blocking it off. But the fact that Diablo doesn't get hit by the Gnar is the biggest part.
Yeah, great cleanse there, and then just able to bully him out of the fight. And we see Diablo just constantly getting damage. It's so hard to navigate this fight into the Skarner, into the Talia. We see Vikla get locked down, not able to really follow through, but then Diablo moves back in despite the low health bar, has confidence he can make it work. Wraps around the Unraveled Earth, and then looks for Xiu here. That final combo at the end with a Pierce. So well played.
Oh. Yeah. And Showmaker actually pretty impressed with how Diablo played that one. He did manage to just kill Vikla, who was just kind of a spectator. Hit him with a seismic shove, so that was a little bit of a shame, but Diablo trying to put his team on his back. And right now, he's got a 320 gold bounty. He's 2K ahead, although it's a center lane, so I just got baited by that one. It's the first time that I'm going to get baited by that one, and probably not the last.
Yeah, but aiming as the Gold King, so 2,000 ahead of the Gold King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big deal. The Diablo, the young player.
Now looking to secure this dragon. D+ contemplating running it back.
Yeah, Beryl does have teleport, so does Clear, so the top laners, or the bot lane and top laner is...
The people inhabiting currently the top lane.
Yes, indeed. DK, 4-man strong in the Banana Brush. That's a lot of control of that area, as they do manage to lock it down. BNK can now just vacate. And so nothing really happening there. 1,000 gold lead for BNK, though. That's a big deal. Another Hextech Soul. Cloud into Hextech. We are eating good today when it comes to these souls. As actually, no, it was Mountain last game, wasn't it?
Yeah. And honestly,
Mountain, Cloud, and Hextech? Damn, pretty good. All right, good handshake there from Kellen. His Renata still very, very strong.
And BNK FairX, the fact they have those two dragons in pocket already, it's a Hextech Soul. They're feeling really a lot more comfortable after that fight win. It's kind of the turning point in a lot of these games. You know, you have the first dragon, starting to lose a little bit of control. That dragon fight to secure the second can really be so pivotal. And, you know, eventually aiming is gonna have infinite range and be a huge problem. But for a long time, D+'s game plan is kind of, you gotta dive in and close distance on BNK FairX, and this Cluster Renata is gonna make that hell.
Yeah, and I think DK also had kind of the wrong approach to the last fight, because they let Xiu kind of dive on top of Diablo, and then he failed to kill... Okay, never mind. We got a bit of a fight here towards the bottom side. Yeah, so Xiu dived on top of Diablo, and then when he failed to kill him, they're like, Diablo doesn't exist. And then he kind of killed everyone. So I think now perhaps Diablo's not going to get away with it. Perhaps. That's what I'm sort of thinking.
Kind of, I think because Beryl spent so much time solo laning, she was 2 levels down on clear. This is really not a good spot for your top lane to be in.
Yeah, not great. Handshake there from Lucid to get him out of any sort of engage opportunity. Showmaker comes in, the Impale not quite working out as the Fate's Call is going to get this Renata out. Kellen immediately looks for the knock-up and gets it. B&K, this is not the team we saw in Game 1. As another handshake, Kellen is just too good at this champion. And DK, you're the ones that were on the team with him when he was this good at Renata.
You knew he was good at Renata, you know? I feel like it was a lot of disrespect to give over the Callista and then do nothing to mitigate this Renata pick coming through as well. And Diablo is just running house right now. You see Lucid come in here, but the handshake away mitigating, and then he's kind of stuck in this awful situation. He ults Kellen. Kellen just gets ulted by Diablo. He's completely fine. Goes in, looks for the Cho'Gath as well, and then once more denies one of the players from D+ with his handshake on the wall. We have, you know what? Not even us, right? We have a lot of footage of Kellen and Renata. Do you know who has more footage than us? D+.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I think they did some scrimming with him as well.
Yeah.
I imagine.
A comfortable amount.
Yeah, I feel like the enemy team probably said, nah, stop playing Renata. Because we want to, like, let's keep it easier for us to maybe win. Oh, man. All right, well, Kellen is kind of running the map right now, and it's a 7-0-0 Diablo. The reverse James Bond. This is Bond James for Diablo here. And 3,000 gold lead. They've got a monopoly on the Dragons. They have the feats of strength. This could not be any better for B&K. And this is such a DK situation, man. We said already, like, you cannot assume. And it looked like a completely, like, because sometimes drafts mean that games are very unplayable. But the first game, it just looked like a skill diff, right?
Yep.
It looked like it barely mattered what champions they were playing. This time, it looks like the same thing, but in the other direction. Ah, DK, never change. Shiu here towards the top side trying to clean up the mess that was made earlier.
I also think aiming souls are pretty low. 33 at like 50 minutes is not much, you know?
Great.
I think one of the outs for D+ is eventually aiming just kind of hits critical mass. You know, the old, guys, we outscale because, you know, infinite scaling. But I look at the enemy Callista having Blade the Rune King Ginsu's in my center, you know, with a hammer.
Yeah, I've almost got a Black Cleaver, guys.
Maybe, kind of, not really at all.
No.
It's not inspiring, and the lack of souls is really a big factor as well. You need that range in this game. You really need to be in a position where you can hit Diablo and he can't hit you back. And I fear if aiming ever walks up to Diablo's just going to hop in his face and explode him.
Yeah, let's see whether Lucid can find a bit of an angle here. As you can see, Showmaker and aiming set up for the gank. Beryl is trying to act tasty. And all right, the Sentinel going to approach the brush, and they trinket it as well. And still, the Skarner waits. Okay, how long are we going to wait? Is it going to be Vikla taking an inhibitor turret before we've pulled the trigger? The answer's no, as Diablo smashed into the wall immediately and presented for his team, but where's the damage? They do eventually find it, but the bailout is going to be there. Showmaker gets over the wall after he's weaved his way in, and Beryl just really wants to eat. He is going to be able to find Kellen there with that one, but you can see it's clear with the damage. Vikla with the damage, and DK just don't quite have it. Another charm is going to connect onto Lucid, who then has to flash away. The wallop does nothing. And DK, I think that was the best it could have gone, and they still lost.
Even with them dispatching the Callista right at the start of the fight, still end up just not being able to have the follow-through in the fight. I have to say, the shutdown from Diablo and burning Summoners here, I think makes it worth, but not a good feeling. Not how you wanted this to go, considering how much you invested to try and take out this Callista. Actually, didn't even get the Callista's flash, so not even that big of a win. Showmaker flashes over here, and it's just kind of locked in with Vikla, just try to find the Kellen, but it's just no real follow-through in this fight. This is the sort of situation where having like an Ahri or Viego, who after that initial kill gets resets, it would be fantastic, but there's just nothing there. Like, you got that one kill, okay.
Oh, seismic shove on the Kellen, but they're still taking a Drake. and that is going to be Soul Point going over to BNK.
Yeah, I think honestly, you know, I thought Diable would use his flash. The fact he hasn't, the fact his cleanse is back up, and everyone has summoners apart from Kellen, who you can just cluster ult anyway. Really looking rough right now for BNK FearX. Sorry, for D+ playing into BNK FearX, because if you try and engage a fight, that summoner advantage is going to make it so hard.
Oh yeah. You see the gold lead kind of plateauing just a little, but I feel like that is not going to remain that way for much longer. And DK, they're on the clock. 4.5 minutes until Soul Point number 1. And DK has to win that fight. I mean, if you give Hextech Soul over to BNK, I think it is game over from there.
Hextech Ruinous Soul would be,
yeah. We're kind of nuts. Bottom lane as well is where Otacon is, so it's going to be a lot going on down there. That Black Cleaver we were talking about is finally completed. Woo!
Hey! 43 stat at souls is just like...
Yeah, he's got like 10 souls since we had the conversation. It feels like 7 minutes ago. Suboptimal, you could say.
Yeah. You know, Beryl hasn't had the best game on this Cho'Gath, but aiming not looking too comfortable on the center.
It might have been that perhaps they hadn't put that much time into this.
Perhaps.
Yeah, Vikla is continuing to struggle here into Showmaker, but the 1v1 just isn't relevant anymore. The team fights have certainly been so much better for BNK. As aiming, comes Lightning, and Raptor not going to go much further. Didn't have full information as to what was going on here, as Otacon is going to spawn. And Beryl may be dead. Handshake comes through. They're going to focus on the turret first. Good knock up there as he dash cannons his way back. And Diable still just dancing after the and finds the pierce. Gorgeously played from the young 80 carry for BNK. And this guy, he really wants this to be a 3-game series. He's looking brilliant. This is what was promised from this young player when he joined, but didn't really see it from them.
Nope.
Until here in this game today.
I think it just kind of shows why Diable was pretty praised playing in challenges and what he can do when he's given the tools. Just that final pierce really threaded the needle so beautifully. And the confidence walking up here, I think Beryl, a little bit too much confidence.
Yeah.
But Diable the perfect amount.
Gorgeously done. And they'll be able to take an inner turret off the back end of that one. That is going to increase that gold lead to just under 5,000. And Clear, he's, in the meantime, also becoming a huge problem.
And look, I know you can't completely trust gold leads when it's like a cluster against a center, but when Diable has a 5,000 gold lead over aiming and Beryl has a 1,000 gold lead over Kellen, it feels like a misbalance.
It feels like there is a 4,000 gold gap.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to point your fingers, but it feels like someone's been...
Oh, you can point your own fingers.
Someone's been cooking the books a little bit. Someone's been... there's some missing funds allocated somewhere.
The Gold King has been robbed. Let's just say that. And there was a lot in there to be robbed, as Lucid going to get pushed back into BNK, and he's being thrown around like a ragdoll. Picks up an Ahri on his way through there. Has flash, but I don't think he really has much of an opportunity to use it. And there's some bounty gold going over to DK. I think it's a check out game number 3 to see whether we can win that one instead type angle for DK, because this one's feeling done and dusted.
Absolutely. Lucid's just trying to walk up to see if he can get a look in and can't even get close. A minute till that Hextech Soul seems very unlikely going to be able to contest that. And with the Ruinous buff as well, that's just a game ender. She was trying to push in the side lane.
Yeah. He is killing minions.
Oh, might go for the Grom.
Hey, there's also a blue buff here.
Doesn't
massive advantage.
I think if they secure the blue buff, I'd feel a lot more optimistic about the state of the game.
I don't think it'll change much, in my opinion. Does get a crab.
Oh, Scuttle Crab?
Hey, Cosmic Drive is done for Beryl. I feel like this is not how the Cho'Gath is supposed to work.
This is Beryl's Cho'Gath. He's got his own way of thinking.
It's a different vibe. There is movement speed on Cosmic Drive, so I guess it's theoretically a similar kind of way of doing it.
I feel like that item's so clunky on Cho'Gath, you know?
Yeah.
You have to like hit an ability to get the movement speed, but like, I mean, I guess you can hit Q.
He's optimistic for his ruptures.
Yeah.
Just say that. Well, DK now grouped up. See whether they can find themselves a team fight.
They got a blue buff.
Hey, there we go. Another flick. That's going to bring Raptor back. This is exactly where DK needs to be, as Vikla flashes for a charm that goes wide. That was something. And now Raptor looking for a bit of an angle as a hostile takeover as Lucid getting softened up completely. Diablo is so incredibly safe as Beryl going down low himself. The flash counter-strike comes in, but Clear taking a lot of damage. Dawning Shadow to try and keep them all alive. And Beryl is limping around in this battle. Shiu getting softened up as well, as Honeyfruit is all they can really hope for. Showmaker realizing he's the only source of damage. The sidesteps are looking good, but Diablo gets in range and down goes the Talia. Not a lot of opportunity, and now he's just dashing towards Shiu. The leap strike not going to quite do it as Beryl.
He just TP.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. It was a very weird state of affairs.
He did just TP in there, right?
I wasn't watching. But now he's
Or was he
dead.
trying to TP out?
Yeah, she was also...
I'm so confused.
Okay, yeah, he was standing on a ward. Lucid is going to try and drive away, but it does not work. Raptor able to kill him, and there is a Hextech Soul. Oh, DK.
I need to see what happened with Beryl there.
Yeah, let's just, maybe we could have it as purely Beryl's view.
Yeah, so... you're not in a good position here from D+. They really want this dragon, understandably, but they're kind of just trapped against this wall. They have to run away from the Renata ult. Again, it's a lot of kiting, but unfortunately they're on the wrong side of the map, so they don't really have anywhere good to go. And they do buy a lot of time, at least.
All right, so Beryl gets the shield from the Dawning Shadow. Then walks over. I think he eats one of these. He teleport. Okay, he backs.
He actually did. He just recalled.
He recalled and then immediately teleported back to the same spot, but the rest of his team had been...
He's not even full health.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought happened, but I was like, surely not. Surely I must have... My eyes are playing tricks on me.
They weren't.
They were... He just did that.
He did just do that. And now the Baron is on BNK.
Well, Aiming nearly has 60 stacks, so...
Hey!
You know, at this rate, I think he'll take over the game once we get to like
an hour and a half.
Maybe 2. All right, maybe 2 hours.
Well, they just have to stay in the game for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's
the other option is quickly lose and then use 26 minutes in order to win with a better draft. As the charm comes in, Beryl dies unceremoniously as Diablo is just dancing around everyone. She tries to dive in, but immediately gets CC'd. That is a triple kill. Diablo's looking for more. That's the Quadra. And the young prodigy from B&K standing up saying, you put some respect on my name, DK. That Kalista performance, absolutely beautiful. 26.5 minutes of B&K. They clap back.
Some big takeaways from this one. Diablo has some good hands. Kellen, surprisingly good on Renata.
Yeah.
Apparently that's new information.
Wow.
And D+, stick to champions you can play.
Yeah.
Generally, and I'm looking specifically at the bot lane because they looked a little bit lost.
They did. I think there were some, certainly some errors that went around elsewhere at the same time. I think Clear also had a fantastic game. Shiu looking a little bit muted. The Skana not working out for Lucid, but I think, yeah, Beryl, I don't know about the center Cho'Gath. Let's not do that.
I honestly, you know what, I don't even think Beryl's as egregious as Aiming. Like, how did he have so few souls?
Yeah.
You know, like...
So, I don't want to make assumptions, but it looked to me like Beryl and Aiming spoke to each other like, we at one point in our careers played these champions once in an ARAM. Let's see whether that works.
Well, Aiming nearly did more, well, he did do more damage than Kellen by 1,300, so that's something.
Nailed it.
Not very inspired. You know what? I feel like as well, Aiming's the gold king, right? And you know when you play center, if you're like you should be like hunting out the souls. I figured that'd be second nature to him.
Yeah. Very strange, weird and wonderful game there for B&K. They keep us in the series. One more game to decide who takes it. We'll go to a short break. Then the space is going to break that one down. Good luck, guys. And then we'll be back for game 3. See you soon.
기다려.
이거 이번에 세게 몸 들이밀어도 될 때 탈리 없어서 탈리 프리디야 이거. 나라 해볼게. 초가스 볼게. 초가스. 가봤어 이거 천천히 봐봐.
달려볼게.
나 달려볼게. 달려. 나를 매. 나를 볼게. 나를.
미드 탑 미드 탑.
내가 탑다운 끝날 때.
미드
탑 가자.
뭐냐? 파밍마인드 이겼어.
대추요.
형님 미드라고.
I just respect D plus testing. They're like, oh, is Callum good at Renata? This is information we need to know.
Yeah, they've
And now
never
they know
known
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have that information prior to this.
I think Bengi's notebook now has Callan's kind of good at Renata written down in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crayon. All right, Nocturne going to be a ban away as we dive into the draft for Game 3. Fearless Game 3, first time that we're going to get there this season, and probably you're feeling good if you're a DK fan because they were very good at Fearless in the LCK Cup. However, they just lost a game to BNK FearX, arguably the weakest team in the LCK right now based on people's power rankings.
Yeah, well, maybe you're feeling... It's kind of a mixed bag because maybe losing that Game 2, then I'm going to go serious mode Game 3, but also... What was that Game 2? I mean,
Yeah.
I think Showmaker is innocent. I think he had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
The bot lane, very guilty, I think is how I'd put it together. Seeing Nocturne, Renekton, and Poppy coming out in the bans, so...
Very different.
Very different. Varus open and available. Neferi open and available. So one of those is getting through.
Let's see which one. As we saw when Varus is left up,
Okay, it's
you
Neferi
can still
first
just kill the Varus over and over again.
I wanted to see Lucid play this.
I think Lucid's going to play this.
He is gonna. You can see him pretty hyped about it. We saw, you know, it's 0-2 so far in the LCK, but one time it got kind of bopped by Genji, and the other time it did everything it could.
Yeah, the next time it got bopped by some noodles.
Yeah.
It did do some bopping.
It did do a lot of work in that game, and I think people kind of saw the strength of it. Seeing the Cassante come out in the top lane for clear. Cassante Vi, so we have seen Vi pretty popular into Neferi. Obviously saw in that first loss that Peanut had, it was into Canyon's Vi.
Yeah. That could be the opportunity here for Raptor to try and take them down. I don't think Cassante's given me a whole lot of good vibes.
Yeah.
In as far as your like 1-2 punch after the first pick.
Yeah, but to be fair, a lot of the top lane picks, like, you know, Gnar, Jax, the Rumble that you could pick into him, Gwen, kind of taken off the cards.
I was going to say
go for
Aatrox is an
Aatrox.
option.
Yeah. Also, Ahri and Talia are gone for mid lane.
Yeah.
That like to pair up with the Vi, so it'll be interesting to see what...
LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Let's go Showmaker. I hear Showmaker is relatively good at LeBlanc. I would deny it from the Vi, which could also be good. So I think that they should just lock it in.
Well, we'll see.
Or is it Azir?
Azir is pretty strong. Gonna go for the Aurora, though. Has been left open available. So Closer tries best to make a game work on that one. And honestly, this works as denial as well, because Vi Aurora is pretty strong. Vi Talia's gone. Vi Ahri's gone. What are they going to pair up with the Vi in this situation?
Now, what is it, Vikla? Could be something like a Silas if you wanted to just keep it brawly.
It honestly could just be Azir.
Or just Azir, yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's always the most boring answer, unless it's D plus bot lane.
Yes. In which case, please, can you be more boring?
Yes. Why can't you be normal?
Yeah, they've actually saved the bottom lane pick until last. What would be, okay, a bot lane that has been played competitive that would make you the most disappointed that's available right now? So no Talia Pantheon, because that one, Talia is not available.
Man, most disappointed. Is it? Yeah, you know what it is? Yasuo said you on.
Unfortunately, the Sejuani... Oh, wait, no, Sejuani's available.
Yeah, I checked, you know?
Oh, my God, you're right. Okay. All right,
Honestly,
aiming at
you know,
barrel, there's
I
your
said
mission.
that made me disappointed. That'd be kind of pog.
Yeah, it would be kind of pog. And it'd be pog until we got into the game,
Yeah.
I imagine.
I mean, that was the same with the set of Cho'Gath.
Yeah,
It was pretty
exactly.
cool, and then we got to see them play it, and it was less cool.
Yeah.
A lot of the engaged spots being banned out in this situation. Leona and Rel already gone. Nautilus and Rakan taking away Alistair now off the card. So really thin in the pool right now.
Attacking Barrel's champion pool is dangerous for for DK, because then Beryl feels like he can play all sorts of other random things, which can result in... Yeah, interesting stuff.
I just need a Yasuo with me.
Haven't seen Aiming's Yasuo for quite some time. Zeri is going to be taken away.
I like the Zeri ban because we don't need to see Zeri, Lulu or Zeri Yumi coming out.
Wait. Does this mean that we're insta-locking Lucian Nami? Is it happening?
Lucian did get buffed this match. Lower dash cooldown.
There we go.
Is that enough?
Don't know.
Hope not, if I'm honest.
They wouldn't have very many engage tools.
Yeah. Well, they have.
Okay,
that's an engage tool. Oh, and now as well, I mean, they banned all the engage support. This is an interesting one because if they go engage supports, like if they went Nautilus, who's obviously banned now, but if he wasn't, you can just pick Braum into it, right? But
engage Braum.
They banned all the engage champions, so the Braum kind of pick not really as present here. And now D+, a lot of the strong lane and AD carries taken off the cards that we see. You know, MF gone, Calista gone, Varus, Ashe denied, so...
Well, Kai'Sa is up.
They are going to go Aiming, obviously a fantastic Kai'Sa, but not so fun into the Ashe. And also, you typically pair Kai'Sa with an engaged support. Is it going to be like a Shen?
Gragas!
That is an engaged support.
That is. That'll kind of work, I guess.
I think you could just go Braum here, honestly.
Oh yeah, Braum into the cask is pretty high value.
Yeah, they did this change ages ago. But it used to be when Gragas threw the cask, it exploded on your wall, and it knocked Braum back, and anyone in front of the wall got knocked forwards. They changed it, so now when you throw the cask at the wall...
It just eats it.
It just disappears. And, you know, I remember playing that matchup after the change, and it freaked me out. I was like, where'd it go?
Yeah.
It just vanished. This cask of ale just disappeared. Gragas was distressed, obviously.
Basically, Braum learned how to drink way faster.
Yeah, very efficient.
He just slurps it.
Siphoned a bit off to the Poros, which was a whole incident. But yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the mid-jungle of D+ is terrifying. But I think the bot lane matchup is good for BNK FearX. I think Clear on Cassante is fine. I think it's a strong 5v5 for BNK FearX. It's just really, this Neferi is dangerous to deal with, and Lucid definitely feels like the sort of player who can go to town with this.
Yeah, I think it's going to need to be a little bit of early game prowess here from DK, though. Definitely feels better than having Senna Cho'Gath on the map. So that is a positive. And we have a gentleman in the military service right now. Don't necessarily know what his what was written down just yet. Because it was very small.
Yeah.
That was why.
Yeah, you would have been able to read it.
I would have been otherwise,
if it was larger. Like, these signs you can read because they're larger.
Yeah, but I didn't because I was talking to you.
Yeah, of course. You know, it was just an example.
Yeah.
If people want their signs read by you specifically, they need to write it that sort of size.
Yeah, and in English. All right, as you can see here, we've got some pretty standard composition coming out of BNK. DK a little bit more experimenting, especially with that Gragas support. We'll see what Beryl's going to be able to do with it. That is indeed Vi from Arcane, and we are indeed into Game 3 for the first time. LCK 2025. I am ready. I'm ready to see who's going to be able to come out on top, whether BNK can do it. Find the upset against DK. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift. 3 Poros for Braum and 3 Doggos for Lucid. That's pretty cool. Is it 3? Right now it's looking like, yeah, it is. Is it 2? Or is it 2? Just include, yeah, you include. I'm including Fury so that we can have the same amount of animals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Keeping parity. That's how I'm doing it. As oh man, we like Gragas Esquire as well as Gentleman Cho'Gath.
Okay.
Beryl is running it down respectfully.
Yeah, I think I have a theory. Okay. I think Beryl just likes those skins.
Oh, me too, though.
I am like Cho'Gath, Gragas, those skins back to back. I think he's like, you know, he's bigging it up. He's like, yeah, I think Gragas is really good here. Like, you know, we need engage support. Obviously, a lot of meta engage supports are banned. And then secretly, he's just hovering the skin like.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because, like, a lot of people would go, like, KDA fan Gragas because that skin kind of goes hard. But this, I mean, it's the original and the best, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Although Scuba Gragas is pretty OP.
Hillbilly Gragas.
Oh, Hillbilly Gragas, that's a shout-out to Score. That's still his. in my opinion, as Diablo and Kellen being a little bit tricky here, as this bottom lane matchup does not sound like a whole lot of fun to play if you're Kaiser Gragas.
No.
But they tried to walk up to the lane, and as you can see, that is illegal.
Yeah, this is kind of the issue Kaiser's going to have in this current meta, that you have to walk up at level 1 and exist rather than just lane swapping. Not so fun.
It's not working out so well, as we can see here. And the problem is they gave a great matchup to the guy that just had an absolute pop-off game. And so Diablo absolutely feeling himself right now as Beryl body slams his way out. And yeah, DK going to have to farm this one under turret. This is the lane where DK fans should be feeling pretty happy. Vickler is, even in the game that they won, not been feeling too good about the laning phase. And so this is certainly a point of control, and especially with the setup, Lucid wanting to get around the map and find some kills early. It's an opportunity here as we get a slight zoom in onto aiming. He's missing so much of this CS.
Yeah, Kellen even walked forwards and blocked him from killing a minion at the tower, so the tower killed it instead. They are fully trying to twist the knife in this situation.
Yeah.
Despite that, though, as you see, he did it again, but despite that, he's not actually that far behind in the farm. In fact, if he gets this last minion,
yeah,
they're even. He's actually up in gold. You know, sometimes...
That's just Gold King, baby.
Sometimes in bot lane, you try a little bit too hard to play the denial game, and you're a little bit less focused on the me gets CS game.
Well, I mean, Kellen can focus on the denial game. Diablo needs to last hit the minions.
Yeah. Did just miss one there?
2. I don't think he even got the other one.
Oh, he didn't actually.
Yeah, bit sad. Still, Cannon gets picked up by aiming, and he's happy about that one. Raptor will be able to take this one down as Lucid not finding the first dagger, not finding the second dagger. Dancing shoes on here for a Raptor.
And with that, Lucid's just going to disengage and go for the top side scuttle instead of trying to fight a Vi over his bot side scuttle.
Looks to be the answer. Does mean that the bottom lane kind of left out to dry a little bit. Vickler not going to be hit by that one. So Showmaker still trying to put on as much pressure as he can, but Conquering Sands working out here. Showmaker. Ooh, got the zoom. There's a flash. My God. Okay. Flash for flash in the mid lane already.
Yep.
Putting the fear of God into him right there.
Good reaction from Vickler. Doesn't want to get solo killed again, so able to dodge away. And now, once more, pressure going down onto D+. Body slam from Beryl will avoid him getting stunned. But not having a fun time.
Yeah. Honestly, could be worse. Especially given the fact that, yeah, aiming is still even with more
He's actually
minions.
going to be ahead, yeah.
Yeah. It's very weird. Don't quite know how this is working. Aiming has done a deal with the devil or something like that. I will get more minions.
It's a Gold King passive. You just gain CS every 10 seconds.
He's basically Twisted Fate every game.
Yeah.
Or something. Well, Chiyu and Clear just pressing buttons at one another. We've seen this matchup before. Scramble is completed though, as Clear had teleported back a little bit earlier. Showmaker just walking up to Vickler. Finding a few opportunities here to get some of these trades. This is where he's found a lot of his success on Aurora. It's just being able to force your lane opponent to be at very low health most of the game. Hasn't been hitting many of the combos though. Vickler actually, I think, playing a bit better. Even though you can see in the farm, it is still Showmaker having a good time. Kellen's going to turn up and gank his former mid laner. No flash available because, of course, he used it earlier. And there is the Sand Soldier. There is first blood going over to Vickler.
Great moves there by Kellen, finding an opportunity to roam from base and just punish his Showmaker for his over-aggression. I think you can kind of see that, the way he was permanently forcing these trades on a Vickler. A little bit disrespectful, and it's immediately punished. Now, Lucid going to find a ward, but nothing else.
Yeah. And the Dragon going on over as well, so B&K utilizing the advantage, turning it into an objective, and maybe they can get over towards these grubs. But it does look like DK, with moving their bottom lane up early, will be able to secure the grubs. So not going to be a response there. Should just be a trade for grubs. But the first blood going over to Vickler, such a big deal, because he has really been struggling so far in this series. And getting this Azir online could be really, really big for B&K moving forward in this game.
가볼게.
Kellen, if B&K win this, is the player of the match.
평타.
I still think Diablo is
나이스.
in strong contention for the Callisto game.
Aha. There we go. That's actually a really good point.
But I think the bot laners are definitely fighting over that spot if
But
BNK
wait.
VRX come through.
You remember like that topside sequence in game 2 as well? Like that was
good.
all Kellen.
But the Callista play
Yeah, no, I think
was pretty clean.
Diablo was definitely good. If Diablo does do like anything at all this game, he's probably going to get
It's one of those two, for
Yeah.
sure. And it would be a crazy scenario when Neferi goes 0-3, and just I don't even think it's even remotely Neferi's fault if Neferi loses this game. Or the other 2 games. I kind of blame Peanut for the first game.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a Peanut situation.
Yeah.
He is not as good when he hasn't had a few games on stage on the champion.
Shyvana vibes?
Yeah, a bit of the Shyvana vibes, bit of the Zyra vibes, things like that.
Yeah.
This is where we need to see Lucid show us, you know, how this Neferi is supposed to work. As top
Has
lane
he
is
got
in
that
some
dog?
lane. Yeah, does he have the dog in him? That is a very good point.
Is he a big dog?
Big dog.
Big dog.
Well, aiming and barrel will be able to get another crash. And you can see, as far as CS is concerned, no worries there either. That's a BF sword for the Kai'Sa. An interesting choice.
Yeah.
As Raptor comes over and steals the Raptor.
Just like doing that.
It feels like a really long time ago that we were talking about not saying the word rap anymore.
Yeah, has it been long enough? Are we allowed?
Yeah, I think we're allowed to.
Okay.
Lucid, can you smite this one? The answer is yes. It helps when your opponent does not have his.
I guess he's going wild arrows. It's the only thing that makes sense for the first item.
Yeah. All right. Gonna land the Void Seeker here as Beryl, body slam, tanking up the turret now. But this is a Cassante, remember? It can get a little bit awkward. He goes all out, but then the body slam's there, and Beryl says, I'm gonna take this kill, Gold King. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to get the next one.
Yep, good moves there, good dive set up, and especially without the jungler there, not the easiest dive to pull off, and you saw it was a little bit close with Beryl, but as he would say, calculated.
Oh, yeah. Also, making sure that he's always in the right angle, so when the all-out comes in, he actually gets pulled out of turret range as the arrow going to sail towards this top side.
Oh, stop the recall?
Try to stop the recall.
Why? I think aiming moved because you saw the arrow coming, so essentially served the purpose. Yeah, interesting we're getting the crit Kai'Sa here when
It's not my favorite.
your only AP source is this Aurora. And I mean, I get the value of making it a solo AP Aurora, but it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the ult there from at the end from Claire, maybe if he'd popped that a little earlier, could have been different, but it's hard to pull off. Gragas is very bulky and a lot of CC.
Yeah. Still, played very, very well here by DK. And Beryl having a much better showing, you could say. Aiming back towards the top side, going to be clearing things out. Next round of grubs up in about a minute.
I feel like for Beryl's performance, the previous game set the bar pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's currently his scoreline is looking way better.
Significantly.
Both teams though with one objective apiece and one kill, meaning that feats of strength. Complete parity here right now. See who's going to be able to get position on these grubs. I imagine DK probably happy to sort of go 1-for-1 if they can get position elsewhere. 30 seconds on the Drake at the same time. Everything's sort of coming up together.
Yeah, I think ideal situation for D plus is you able to contest maybe one grub, steal one away, and then get the dragon off the back of it. But with Lucid resetting and BNK VRX having full control of the area, I don't know how plausible that's going to be. We've also seen Claire actually moving up here.
Yeah, she also down towards his bottom side, trying to be able to clear this one out. He is pinging that he will be looking to attack this turret. And so, yeah, maybe it's just Lucid says, all right, we'll go 3 for 3. Not too worried about it. And BNK, they are investing everything into making sure that this is locked down. Demolish is there, though. It's going to be a lot of damage. He's now aiming maybe a little bit too far up. Does have flash, now doesn't have flash.
Yep, good moves there by Kellen, capitalizing on the slow from the Ashe. And well, still to keep the pressure here, get a plate as well.
Yeah.
Now Raptor looking for it. This is risky against the Gragas.
Clearing out that ward. The Gragas being there, like you say, is going to help out. One dragon apiece, though. One set of grubs apiece as well.
I think Beryl's on the tower if they try and dive.
Okay. Does manage to cask in a weird time, and so Kellen doesn't get the door up.
Yeah. I think the plan there was basically Beryl defend against the dive, and if they dive him, aiming ult in. But BNK Ferox just kind of walk away after forcing the TP, which they're happy with.
Yep, not too bad there at all. Showmaker moving towards the top side and then back towards mid. Shiyu and Clear doing battle once more. And man, this is a much slower game. I feel like, you know, Bengi was like, enough of the funny business, guys. Let's play some cool, calculated League of Legends. And that's what we're getting here. Yuntal's now done for aiming, like you were talking about. Definitely a lot more of that crit style. Building now into a little bit more attack speed. We'll see where the build does go. Still likely a Rage Blade to be put together.
I don't know. I think if you've gone Yuntal, you kind of have to fully commit to crit. Like, I feel like you need like a crit attack speed item second, like a PD or something.
Let's see what aiming is going to go for. Doesn't look like Infinity Edge.
I think you get that third.
Well, Vikla is looking for a bit of an angle, and Showmaker says, nah. So he'll just be able to go into stealth and be absolutely fine. Lucid looking to see whether he can take his blue buff, and it looks like he should be able to. Barrel coming around, and that is going to be Lucid securing it. Barrel going to slow down Raptor as he makes his way out, but Vikla there as well. Time?
Barrel just stole blue. Oh, Showmaker. They were both
he was just standing in it.
He just...
Sometimes, you know...
like,
how do you know that Showmaker wasn't like, you should take it?
No, because Showmaker was also standing in it. definitely wanted it. But I guess he didn't want it as much as Barrel did. I think that's what's clear.
I think Barrel just said, how much of a gold lead do you have? And he says, I have a 500 gold lead, so I think I deserve this.
Yeah.
Not that they can actually see, but that's fine.
Is it fine for Barrel? I mean, to be fair, I don't think Showmaker's that worried, but I've seen people tilt over less in solo queue games.
Yeah, true. Thankfully, this isn't a solo queue game, and Showmaker has a lot of experience with Barrel, so he knows.
Yeah.
Is now Clear in a little bit of trouble, perhaps, as Shiyu is really showing sort of the mid-game dominance of this Aatrox. Pushing this wave up. Let's see how much damage to this turret he can get done here with the cannon available. Lucid moving over as well. More plates as they do fall down. One was picked up just prior to that. And so could actually be this first turret feat of strength to go over to DK. And yeah, they're going to tank this one up, wait for the minions to come on over, and that is first turret blood going over to DK. And they've moved into like a 2,000 gold lead kind of out of nowhere, largely from just farming better, being in better positions around the map.
And the turret helps, but just definitely building it up, you know, not as fast and loose as the previous game.
Yeah. And by farming better, I mean Shiyu's farming better.
Yeah. Which is something. He does have a pretty sizable lead over Clear right now, mostly on the back of that farm. So, kind of scary to see an Aatrox getting fed in this manner.
It doesn't, I feel like it doesn't mean that much. We haven't, like, we've had a lot of Gwens and Rumbles and things like this where if they fall behind, they feel kind of useless. I guess with just a true tank, you can still kind of do your job even if you are falling a little bit behind.
I mean, Clear's still going to be relevant, but it's just the Aatrox.
Yeah, snowball factor.
Yeah. And also, if you keep getting bullied out of lane and forced back, it's just going to get worse because we saw obviously Clear struggling a little bit to match up. And I think that's one of the problems with the Cassante is so much power is budgeted into your ult. Like, if you can't comfortably lane, like if you ult and you're not able to like find a kill, they're just going to disengage. And it's like, well, what have you gained?
Yeah. Ooh, Barrel. Might be going for something sneaky.
He's trying to pay back Showmaker for the blue buff.
There you go. Pay it forward. All right, Vikla moving in. Showmaker eviscerates the wave.
Yeah, but now Showmaker has a red buff. Where did you get that, buddy?
Yeah, it's not 20 minutes yet. What's happening?
that's definitely... It's like, support took my blue buff. I'm taking your red buff.
I get Lucid just pays the price for
the
everything.
cycle's never going to end. Well, it's shared for him, so he's fine with it.
All right, yeah, true.
It's aiming who suffered for Barrel's sins.
And aiming suffered in the last game as well. That's too much. Is now Kellen taking a bit of damage, puts up the door. That's a lot of value for that one. Throws an ultimate out of fear, I guess, as the arrow is going to be just avoided. And Barrel, perfect body slam. Gets him out of the way. Rift Herald going to be ignored now after a whole bunch of ultimates just went wide. BNK, way less tools. So DK claim control of the river. Now Shiyu looking for an angle onto Clear here towards the bottom side. The Darkened Blade hurting.
Yeah, and you actually saw the Gragas interaction with the Braum. With just the ult just got consumed
Yeah.
by the fires off that, that fireplace.
He threw it into the fireplace.
Not the best place to throw your alcohol.
Yeah, I was going to
be
say
like an
there should be-
explosion.
yeah, the
it blows
fire
back in his
explosion.
face. Yeah.
Man, Ziggs should just come in and throw down a Mega Inferno Bomb if that happens. That should be the fun interaction.
I think so.
Let's talk to Freak.
It's not satisfying because it just vanishes. You know,
Yeah.
you don't even get like the, noise.
It should just like, it should still do the explosion animation and just not send anyone anywhere.
just fizzle out.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
It just makes Kellen drunk.
Yeah, Braum just kind of like runs around in a weird way and his screen goes fuzzy.
Honestly, they've been adding so many status effects, like you have the Berserk and things like that to the game.
Yeah.
I think they need to add like Intoxicated as a status effect.
Oh, there you go.
And rework Gragas so you can apply it to enemies.
Speaking of, maybe he is drunk. I don't know. Beryl is behind enemy lines, but he just body slams his way in. And in fact, he just bought time to make sure that this Rift Herald was claimed. He's a genius. There is a fine line, though, between genius and madness, as we know.
That he regularly treads.
Indeed.
Oh, Lucid got it with
Lucid,
the lead.
Yeah, did manage to get it.
Or maybe the dogs. One of the two.
Beryl is just really not afraid, and I feel like he should be. You know how sometimes you're like, wow, he isn't afraid, I'm so impressed. It's more like, he's not afraid. Please start being afraid.
I'm kind of worried for him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, does mean B and KFX are able to move over towards the dragon and have control of that area. Herald's going to come down. Not sure who's going to grab it. Beryl probably shouldn't, as he has been drinking.
Yes, certainly shouldn't. They're just going to leave it, though, see whether it can get itself a charge. That is going to buy DK some time.
One of those
to move
autonomous-
into the river.
Autonomous cars. Oh,
Okay, Raptor diving on in there. Bomber comes down this time, gets Raptor out, but Neferi is just dead in an instant. She able to umbrally dash over that wall and clears all out, doesn't do too much. She wants back, though. And so DK, even though they lost one and it's their jungler, they still want to try and fight for this. The volley value actually kind of massive as well as Shu gets himself out of there once again. Okay, B&K, they've got it. So that is going to be the first Infernal Dragon going over to B&K. Infernal Soul this game as well. We've had some powerful souls today.
just what a beautiful wraparound there from Raptor.
Or in
Finding this
case
angle.
around, as it were.
Yes, yes. He really spherically moved around to
Yeah.
catch out Lucid. And just the CC layering, man, he couldn't press his buttons. You can't use that untargetability to dip away. Great work there from the Vi, and it secures him that dragon and keeps the gold lead pretty close.
Yeah, we're seeing that it's exactly what you were talking about, right? The Vi picked into the Neferi so often. Seeing that value demonstrated.
Yeah, and aiming going for the Infinity Edge second.
So it is the Infinity Edge, okay.
Yeah. It is a build.
It is. I don't know whether I like it, but sometimes you just want to build different items. Aiming is a player that has built some odd items before.
I mean, I think this build is fine on a champion that isn't called Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
But,
It's a good Caitlyn build. Maybe it was like, Caitlyn got nerfed, but maybe I can just still do the build. I'll just do a different champion.
Kai'Sa.
Yeah, Kleislin. Don't know about that one. Okay, Clear coming on over to seeing whether he can grab this turret. Don't think he's going to be able to right now, as Shu looking for an engage opportunity. Ulti comes down from Showmaker, and Clear tanking things up. Does manage to ult Beryl in order to get himself out of there. And Shu is zoning as best he can. A fight on two fronts here is Clear. Still the target, as they do manage to take him down. Killer Instinct, a whole bunch of things invested into this fight, but an Emperor's Divide does absolutely nothing because Lucid goes untargetable. Gorgeously played from the Neferi. That time it looked way better.
That was slick from Lucid. Baited out the ult from Vikla. Not really going to amount to much, if I'm going to be honest, but it did look cool.
Yeah, sometimes you're fighting over an objective that doesn't really exist yet.
Yeah, good angle found here. Showmaker setting the ult up, the slow comes in, and it gets a little bit scrappy over here, but Beryl obviously not the ideal target to ult, which is kind of just a getaway attempt from Clear, but that ult in return from the Gragas splits him from his team.
The chase down is pretty huge from DK, so if
yeah.
they do manage to separate someone from the pack, they really can just destroy them pretty quickly.
Yeah. Whereas Lucid, it's hard to separate Lucid from his pack because they follow him everywhere.
Yeah, and then he can make more pack by pressing R. And
Yeah.
things
Oh,
like that.
they just missed a cannon.
Yeah, that was a -1 in chat. -1
Bad
in
omen.
chat, everyone, please. That's unfortunate but necessary. As Lucid and Raptor just throwing buttons around. Voracious Arakan up and available. Hasn't been started just yet, but it looks like BNK does have positional advantage and vision control.
It is a pretty voracious game.
Indeed. Well, aiming, no Infinity Edge just yet, so I think he's sitting on a whole bunch of money. Hasn't actually backed since that last fight. As Lucid wanted to clear this one out, might be able to do so, but Raptor dives in. Cease and desist is available, so he's going to be able to lock him down for so long. Lucid going untargetable, gets himself a shield as well with his Eclipse, and Vikla, he comes on over. Going to utilize his Sand Cell just to take down the Nefiri. And a teleport in from Xiu is odd. They're still looking for the angle. Xiu finds a double knock-up with the Q. Diablo in so much trouble. Barrier nowhere near enough. But Beryl is dead as well. Xiu with the World Ender. I just don't know whether it's going to be enough because there's 4 members of BNK in the area. They have to try and get themselves out. Showmaker, a fair bit of damage. The All-Out actually gets Xiu out. And look, I'm not sure about this one. DK or BNK. Showmaker, get out. He is going to be able to get out of there. Burning, but not quite enough. And somehow, that is not a complete catastrophe for either side.
Very chaotic fight in a situation, and Lucid does something that, honestly, this is Beryl's job, to dive for a control ward.
Yeah.
Does get saved by his support, only to run into Vikla, who just walks down and picks up a freebie. And this ensuing fight, I actually kind of feel bad for Clear here, because you can see what he's looking for when he joins a little bit later. Shiva finds a great angle to dabble, completely blows him up. Easy as that. But Clear is trying to catch Shiwu out and stacks up his Q3, and he actually gets the knockback, but Raptor interrupts it, so then he can only ult him away.
No. Yeah.
So he obviously wanted to flip him over and ult him towards his team, and I think they would have been able to kill him with that. But fortunately aren't able to find any more. Little bit of anti-synergy there.
Yeah, the unfortunate anti-synergy timing situation. So we'll take some of the onus off Clear there and try and make sure that we don't Vault Breaker when we're trying to move things the other direction. Still, it's fine. BNK trading up in that scenario. It's about an 800 gold lead here for DK. So basically nothing. They do have feats of strength after picking up their 3rd kill earlier on. And BNK, this is Soul Point. Xiu with a deep flank.
Oh yeah.
As we can see, and BNK actually has absolutely no idea. They do have control vision, so they will get an idea relatively quickly, but as you can see...
Yeah, also mid-tier 1 being up means you can't like flank through the lane.
Yeah, teleport in as the arrow immediately lands onto Showmaker, but goes to the other side of the ulti.
You didn't need to TP there.
Yeah, okay, and Xiu now has also been found out as Lucid turns up as well, finds one of his daggers. It's like we can see the ideas of what is supposed to be happening, but the execution is not quite working out as DK are just going to back away and give up Soul Point here to BNK.
You've been Aurora ult and Aatrox ult. There's just no chance of contesting from this point forward, so BNK Fearax holds strong and managed to secure 3rd dragon off the game. They're in a very comfortable position now.
Yeah. Aiming does have his Infinity Edge completed. I don't know what that means in the context of Kai'Sa, but that would be good on other champions that like to build these items. Kai'Sa has been a champion that's built so many different things over her time, so I imagine this is probably right.
I think the thing with a crit build with Kai'Sa is normally 2 items on Kai'Sa is like absurdly strong.
Yeah.
And then 3 items is a nice finish through as well. The problem in this situation is your 2 item isn't nearly as strong. 3 item feels nice, but you're still lacking like armor pen, and you're much more physical damage focused with this build, whereas you're quite a bit hybrid if you have like the Ginsu's build. So,
do you know what's interesting? Looking it up, the build actually does have the highest win rate in solo queue.
but what is the sample size?
2%.
Yeah. I think it's part of it. If you like finish a crit build, it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
But
I think you have to get to Phantom Dancer as your 3rd item for it to feel good. But DK are now positioned around this Arakan. Vikla is taking an inner turret, but so is Xiu, I'm pretty sure.
Raptor's looking.
Oh, he's raptoring around.
Oh, he is.
As aiming will find the Void Seeker. There's the Vi. And now, DK wondering what they're supposed to do. Beryl has the attention of the Otacon.
He's trying to flip it.
Yep, getting impatient, as we can see here. The teleport to come in.
Okay, he let it reset, but...
Okay, cease and desist. Going to connect onto Showmaker. He tries to avoid a bunch of the damage, but it does not work. And Clear is going to completely miss time. His W there, Shiu, able to get himself out. But now, it is BNK's turn to start off this Otacon. And now Lucid, let's see what he can actually land here as Beryl buying time. Kellen spotting him, knows that he's the one that needs to be there to avoid the cask. Clear taking some damage. Raptor not finding the Q flash at all onto aiming. And Vikla looking for an angle. There's the Winter's Bite, and aiming. He tries to Killer Instinct his way over, but it doesn't really do too much. Diablo left to the Wolves, but the Wolves are not angry enough. The flash is awkward, and Shiu's just gonna die. It's a cavalcade of disaster for DK. It's only Lucid left alive, and there goes the Otacon. Lucid still thinking about trying to be a hero here as Clear doesn't make it over the wall. Can we get the steal? And takes it away. He will die for it, or at least get sent back home. Showmaker does have the buff, so congrats to Showmaker. I just don't know. Take it away.
I actually just want to keep track of how much missed in this passage of play.
It was pretty exceptional.
Vile didn't miss, that hit, good job. And then we have Clay comes in and just completely whiffs that dash, okay. And then we have this situation coming through here where Raptor goes for the Vault Breaker onto aiming and just completely whiffs that as well.
Yeah.
The flash. And then we have this situation where aiming just kind of gets auto attack down. And then Shiu goes for this combo, misses the Q, and then tries to flash on Diablo, gets stunned, and then barrels. Just, you know what? I think BNK FearX won that because they had Braum passive and auto attackers. It's that easy.
8 health. And then Lucid manages to get it, and you can see not celebrating. Gold still basically even. It's no big deal whatsoever, even though it's 3-8 as far as the kill score. BNK finally with the gold lead though, and remember, they have Soul Point. And that is such a big deal.
Aiming has a Runans.
Huh. We're off the beaten path now.
As far as Sivir builds go, this is a pretty good...
Yeah, this is pretty good Sivir.
Lacking a bit of armor pen though, but you know, we'll take it. Honestly, Runans and Sivir, maybe not the best. Maybe not a Sivir build. I don't know.
Oh,
there is a champion who could build like this. We'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, Zeri could probably do it, but it still feels awkward.
Actually, Zeri's probably the take, you know?
Yeah.
I like that, yeah.
They banned Zeri, but what they meant to do was pick it.
We're settling on a Zeri build. This is a Zeri build.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've still got some Otacon buffs. The Baron has been started for some reason, and now Showmaker finding a beautiful combo. Kellen with the door, and Beryl gets around it. Still, Diablo's the target, and he's going to be taken down, and it's a double kill for aiming. Diving forward once again, Lucid does make Vikla go golden, and is able to go untargetable as well. This doggo popping off, but Clear will be able to manage to find the kill. It's Shiu, though, that gets the last laugh, and Showmaker even able to secure that kill. So DK finally getting a good team fight.
Scrappy, but ultimately Showmaker finds a great angle with the ult, and the cleanup comes in on the enemy bot lane. The 8-1 Azir just not able to do enough. And we see it's Showmaker, goes invisible, does get spotted, but finds an angle here, jumps into the ult, gets the slowdown, and then Lucy just dives straight in, and the Flash does a great job of pushing Diablo away from his team.
Beryl, kind of the hero, weirdly enough.
Yeah, and then Vikla tries to do what he can. But it isn't Otacon buff team.
Oh man, Shiu just got really, really big.
Yeah.
By picking up that kill. There's a lot of cinders on the ground there as well. They denied the soul. DK still a ways to go as far as that is concerned. That's their second dragon of the game. Gonna need to stay frosty in 4.5 minutes. This game it couldn't be more even right now, outside of that extra dragon that BNK have for themselves, as Arrow going to land onto Beryl.
Nicely tanked.
Yeah.
Beryl's like, you're welcome, Lucid. And Lucid's like, what?
Or maybe Beryl was actually looking elsewhere. It looked like he didn't notice that he was stunned at all.
He was busy drinking, you know, as Gragas does.
Indeed. But, Gragas Esquire, he drinks responsibly, as we know. He is a gentleman.
Yep. That's why he tanked the arrow. He didn't want Diablo to feel bad for missing it.
Precisely.
Yeah. And Rabadon's nearly there for Showmaker, but not quite finished.
All right, Clear in a bit of trouble here, trying to get himself out. Does do so. Dashes over to Diablo.
You know, interesting
Right.
you have the Spirit Visage from Clear when this is like a full AD Kai'Sa. It's only Showmaker who's got AP, and he's not really targeting you, so I'm not sure if finishing the Spirit Visage was that essential.
Yeah, I don't actually really like Spirit Visage that much on Cassante regardless. He's going to be tagged by that Void Seeker, though, as Lucid diving on in, looking to try and clear out some vision once again. The true wraparound from DK continuing. As remember, this turret in the mid lane is very low. Lucid tried to pick up the whole wave, but there are still minions that do make it over. So you're going to have to go through that base gate to try and defend, but this inhibitor turret is just dead. Just a little bit of mismanagement when it comes to the lanes.
Yeah,
as now Vikla will be able to take this inhibitor. Like, that is just, it's just done.
He is the strongest person on the Rift right now. He is very close to his 4th item, Power Spike, but he is a big problem. And it kind of feels like BNK FairX, the solution to beating them is kill everyone else and then deal with Vikla, as he has that Zhonya's as well, but he is...
Ooh, Door actually on cooldown for a moment. Yeah. Beryl thinking about an angle. You can see he wants it. There's the body slam flash, as Vikla is going to get the fat man out of there, as Arrow going to connect onto Xiu, but Kellen misses his ult completely. BNK getting aggressive, not really finding the buttons. Still, Xiu going to have to go back, does have teleport in order to get himself back into this fight with full health.
You know, I feel like Beryl did most of the combo, but he just kind of, there was something missing, maybe like an ultimate ability. So maybe hesitated and like, do I want to knock this Azir into my team? Maybe not.
Yeah, perhaps not. Finds the cast now, though, as Aiming gets hit by that cease and desist. Lucid dives towards Raptor as well, but you can see the Kai'Sa already eliminated. His bottom lane duo also taking down the flash forward from Xiu, but unable to take down Diablo. In goes Lucid, though. They get rid of the Ashe, and Xiu is just staying alive. My God! His health bar just went back to full from 0.
This Aatrox is monstrous right now in this game, and as it gets clumped up together, Lucid and Xiu are just running rampant. You know, they cleared out the 80 carry from the side of D+. They thought it'd be enough, and they just didn't have the follow-through in that fight. We'll see a replay here. Aiming, I think at this moment was wishing he had a Zhonya's, perhaps a different build could have let him to have that, but he is not to question it. And then here, you know, Raptor gets super low and Showmaker chases him down, but Xiu is so bulky that 1,300 heal from an auto, 600, 345.
Look at this, he's
300, just 300.
Oh my God.
Yep, just how many autos would Diablo have to put into him to mitigate just the heals he's getting? It's absurd.
That was disgusting. And now 4-1-4 on this Aatrox. One of those kills being the 1,000 gold shutdown onto Vikla is such a big deal from that fight prior.
You said it when it happened, a big one for Xiu, and now his healing is absurd. 2 tankety cut through, and they are struggling. I mean, the Azir does now have the Rabadons. I bet they were wishing they had that in the last fight.
I would agree. Aiming hasn't bought another item in a while. I'm looking forward to when he's going to get his 4th. This feels like a choose-your-own-adventure type situation.
It just feels like he's just playing a crit AD carry.
Yeah, I guess. Well, he now does have his Lord Doms. He'll be able to kill clear. BNK, I mean, there's no inhibitor in the mid lane, so it's kind of awkward.
I don't think the other Kai'Sa build really struggles to kill tanks, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. The Zhonya's also would have been. You know what? Hype is watching this right now, and he's like, "You could have built Zhonya's. I didn't have that option."
Well, Clear taking some damage there, as you can see, from Showmaker. Some poke is flying in. Xiu over this wall. They know that he's a raid boss. My God, his health bar is just way too large for someone with mainly damage items.
I think only Vikla can actually shred him, and even then, I don't think it's quick. So, I'm worried. Oh. I'm worried for BNK FairX. They're on the precipice of something.
Well, Beryl looking for a flank angle, finds the cask onto Vikla.
Just trying to get him drunk.
Yeah. And it maybe worked, because Vikla is now diving in on top of Beryl. It is going to be the Dragon secured by the Neferi, but they take down Beryl immediately. Clear gets himself out of there, dives on top of Aiming, but Aiming wins that one. Xiu in the fight once again, stays alive. And yeah, I think DK may have hit critical mass. Triple kill here. It's a full house. Aiming's full of Showmakers, and they should be able to just push up, take down a whole bunch of this base.
Yeah, super minions in their base, but I don't think they're too bothered about those right now. So much focus put onto this Aatrox, and it just meant the rest of the team were able to run rampant.
A 5,200 gold lead for just the Aatrox, when this game was even about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
This should just be the end of it, though, as DK, I mean, they had to work for it. This was not the series I was expecting. I kind of thought this was going to be a blowout. DK, so much stronger in the LCK Cup. At least B&K, they made them work for it. Game number 2, they slaughtered them. And this game was close until it wasn't. DK closed it out in the end, but it was grueling.
Absolutely was. And now, I have a difficult task ahead of me.
Yeah, where? Is it just Shiu? What happened in game 1 again?
He played Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
He was fine. I think...
It was Showmaker until it was that Aatrox. I think I'm probably just going to Shiu it.
I think I'm going...
I don't have a vote, but I would vote for
You know, it's difficult. It's difficult, and I need to make an answer, so I'm thinking...
One thing we do know is Chronicler would vote for Lucid.
Yeah.
Does that help you? Oh, the crowd is voting for Shiu right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty big Game 3 performance.
D+ King. I actually love that.
I'm doing it. I'm committing to my vote.
Oh, Beryl.
I've done my best. I've done my job. Beryl had some... The Gragas had some weird moments, you know?
Yeah. And Cho'Gath had some weird moments as well.
You can't never change Beryl. This is just who he is.
Aiming with the more stranger build than I've seen, and it's not even that it's strange. Like, I think that if you're in a position where you desperately need AD,
100%.
Totally fine. But they weren't.
Yeah.
So just do the one that works good.
Yeah, I think you had plenty of AD damage in your composition.
It'd be good to have any excuse to build an Hourglass, and aiming made it impossible to build an Hourglass.
If your top side, for some sick reason, was like, Gwen, Zyra, Azir, then I get it. I don't know. I don't get why your top side is that, but I get going the AD build. But yeah, it just
We did have Gwen Maokai earlier today. That has happened.
We did. But yeah, it just felt like it was one of these situations where Azonia's would have gone nicely for the moments they ulted you. This was that moment where a lot of skill shots whiffed.
I don't really watch this again.
I think they were calibrating, is what I would, the thing I will say here. Raptor, I like this attempt if it hit, but it didn't. So, close. Unfortunately, you don't really get an award for close. And then Vikla, I think Vikla obviously got very fed in this game, was cleaned up all the kills, but kind of his decision-making in the last fight, I presume we'll get to see this in these highlights, was a bit...
I feel like the pressure kind of got to him.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he realized that he had to be the one that wins this game.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a little bit of a tall order.
He was the only one who could kill Aatrox, but also if you just focus Aatrox, then everyone else in the team kills your team, and you lose.
But look at the healing.
It's just the numbers are so big. It's just big green number.
Yeah.
Constantly. It's so goofy.
And then, Sterix is also so broken, just because then you get the big old shield, and that gives you time to get the big old heal again.
Why do you just randomly heal 875?
Yeah, what?
And yeah, Vikla goes to Gragas. Not sure about this decision. And then he moves back over, and he flashes to try and secure Shiwu, and then just kind of ends up in the middle. So
yeah,
kind of desperation. I feel like being K-Ferex towards the end. D+ felt a lot more confident, as they ever do, even when they were losing in game 2.
I feel like there's a lot of sheepishness here from a lot of the DK players. It's like equal parts frustration and happiness that they were able to win this one. But good to see some higher spirits. You saw afterwards there, Showmaker looking a little bit frustrated, but in the call, as we saw at the end, he was still in very high spirits. Vikla did a lot of damage. It meant not a lot.
Yep. Yep. I actually think that amount of damage looks like a lot, but you could do that to Shiwu in one team fight and he wouldn't die.
True.
Like,
I mean, you have to do that amount of damage like instantly.
Yeah.
It needs to be a bomb.
you know, that's the problem with damage per second against Aatrox. You just need burst.
Yeah.
But you need enough burst to do 5k damage, which is so hard.
His Ivern was really, really good.
Yep, I think
in game one.
And his Skarner, I don't blame him for that. There's other people I blame for that.
I think there were shenanigans elsewhere on the map. I think if you were to give player of the game, it would have been game 1 Lucid, game 3 Shiu, but still, I think Lucid was the guy that sort of held it together. And Nefiri seems like a champion that's really hard to win with so far.
Yeah, we've got to win. We've got to win in Nefiri. That's the first win in Nefiri that we've had in the LCK, which is kind of absurd.
Yeah.
Given that she's like really strong, but you know.
Maybe that'll mean that she'll go through some drafts a little bit more, because that's kind of fun. Seeing a new champion more and more often, because we haven't seen Nefiri in the jungle until now. So, kind of cool.
Maybe teams are like, yeah, we can handle it. It's only got 1 win and 2 losses.
Yeah.
And then they can't handle it.
No.
The Vi seeming pretty good into it if you just CC chain the Nefiri forever and never let them play the game.
So I think that maybe it's when Vi isn't available, we try and pick the Nefiri. That could be the theory, but maybe we're going to find out because we're going to have a chat to Lucid. So take it away to the interview.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Sierra for the POM interview translation, joined by Lucid on the side of D+ Kia. Congratulations! D+ Kia defeats BNK VODs. How does it feel to secure your first regular season victory? No, it was a match after such a long time, so I was bracing myself. I think we just really need to prepare even better next time. I struggled a lot while playing on stage today. How did you spend your time between and up until the LCK Cup? I think we're just trying to really search for what is the best for our team to play, and also worked on our synergy. In game 1, you took jungle Ivern and finished a double AD carry comp with Corki and Ezreal. And in game 2, Senna and Cho'Gath bot lane made an appearance. So can you walk us through the draft? I think in the process of finding the right champions for each of the players, we were actually able to find out that I'm able to play Nefiri. And yeah, in game, you picked Nefiri, which had 0 wins until today. And as you marked the first victory with Nefiri, how do you rate her? I think she can definitely take an advantage while trading and snowball off of that. And I don't think we were able to trade very often in today's case, so I think that's what made the game a lot more difficult. And in game 3, you were in a pinch where your team got wiped while trying to take Otacon. So what were you thinking in that moment? Yeah, in the game, I guess up until then, it wasn't really going our way. So I think in the end, I had to say, I have to make a move to turn the game around. So that's why I went for the steal. And Lucid, you have been showing up such a strong performance since the LCK Cup. So what kind of performance do you want to show? Yeah, I do believe that I showed up pretty well in the LCK Cup. And today was our first match of the regular season, but it left a lot to be desired. So I think after we brush our performance up a little more, I think we would be able to show up an even better and solid performance from now on. And with your next match up against KT next, what is your resolution? I feel like we really put all of our fans on the edge of their seats, so I will make sure and put in a lot of effort so that it is a much smoother ride next time. And that's the end of the interview with you, Lucid, and back to the space. Thank you.